Greetings, weary traveler, come, warm yourself by the fire, and let us regale you with mighty tales, tales of adventure, tales of heroism, and of course, Tales of Tamriel. I am your host, Arkhaniir Pokestick, and I'm joined by two of my amazing co-hosts. Starting with the man, the myth, the legend himself, and the most recent member of the Elder Scrolls Online PC Master Race, LotusOfDoom. How's it going, Lotus?
Ta-da! The frame rate here is lovely.
I do heard you mentioning that, yeah.
Oh my god, it is moderately shocking, the difference from console to PC. My PC is fine, like it's good. It's a 1080, like it's whatever. I have yet to have a load screen be longer than 2 seconds. I play the game on Ultra, and it has not at any point dipped below 90 frames a second, which is just ridiculous. I'm like, what? 9? That's triple our best on console. Like, triple at least.
I don't see 90 frames. You'll have to go into more detail with that. But before all that, before you go into all detail with that, because we have news and we have one more co-host to announce. Also joining us, as usual, the Giggle Queen herself, the joy of the show, and the enemy of the Aldmeri Dominion, HyperPixie Gaming. How's it going, Pixie?
It was going great until that last part.
Look, I introduced myself as Arkhaniir Pokestick. I will introduce you as the enemy of Aldmeri Dominion. There's a reason for all of this happening.
Fair. It's fair. I die a little inside every time.
Well, for a while, we will have to die inside. Once again, Lotus made it out, with the best deal out of the three of us.
Oh, I get 90 frames per second. This is great. And you and I just hate our lives all of a sudden, so I don't get this.
Look at how shiny life is now.
Look how great everything is. It's lovely. And Ark and I are just crying in the corner.
Yeah, true. But there's a very good reason for that happening. But before we get that, I have a few shout-outs to do. And those are our Patreon supporters. Starting with our champions, the highest tier on Patreon, Solus Gaming, Starfalling Games, aka Kinara, and Zymergy. If you don't know, Solus Gaming has its own podcast and streams, and Kinara, Starfalling Games, also streams and has a podcast. So, two names you definitely 100% should check out. Also, the Knight of DC and Jondar as well. Thank you all so very much for your continued support.
Thanks, guys.
I probably should spell Solus Gaming, because I'm not sure if people understand the way I pronounce it. That's Sulys. No, I even spelled it wrong.
Everything's ruined.
Yeah, Solus, goodbye. Just change your name. Just change your name to Solus, and it'll be fine.
Perfect.
That's SulYce, not S.
There it is.
Yeah, people will have some trouble figuring it out. We'll fix it next time we do a shout out. That's fine.
Look, it's just clearly Sulys. Again, it's fine.
Sulys.
It should have been Yeet, and that would have been fine.
Yeet.
Just spell it differently every single podcast.
This is
perfect.
This is good. One quick behind the scenes update that I want to do is that I am changing the way I upload Tales of Tamriel and potentially all of our podcasts to YouTube. Now, the reason for that is I really want to get our YouTube to get the traction in the same level of our podcasts, our streams. The problem with that is that our main audience for Tales of Tamriel is audio listeners, right? Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, whatever is your favorite podcast platform. So the views on it on YouTube is fairly low, right? And that brings down the analytics of the channel, which in return causes YouTube's algorithm to basically think that, okay, videos from this channel, they're not high performing, so the way the algorithm pushes your content out changes. That's why I'm going to be making the Tales of Tamriel videos unlisted. So they won't be in your subscription feed, but they will be in the channel of Dungeon Crawler Network. So if you go into the channel, you will see the Tales of Tamriel playlist. There you will be able to see the latest episode. It just won't be in your won't be in your subscription list, like the page you go, and it won't affect the analytics of the channel. And in what we talk about, what I will do is I will basically cut certain discussions or news part into smaller videos, and those will probably be public, but I'll just be, testing it out, seeing what happens, is what I'm planning on. So just so you know, if you watch us on YouTube, it might actually even be happening with this video. I haven't decided, in which case it already won't be on YouTube. So, I'll figure something out. Anyway, we are not going to go too much into detail of that. Right, so before we get into the news, Lotus, do you want to give everyone a Post ExtraLife Report and the reason why I'm Arkhaniir, you are on PC, Pixie is the enemy of Aldmere Dominion, and all the good stuff that came from the support of our absolutely fantastic community?
Yes.
With the ExtraLife.
So, as most of you would have known, it had been a couple weeks since we had recorded, because we were really going all in on getting the Extra Life charity event that I have long supported. This is actually my 8th year, and luckily, thanks to Ark and Pixie, you both lended a hand last year, and this year we kind of went even more all out with it. And we had our 48-hour marathon last weekend, to which I cannot thank all of you enough. Our $1,000 goal was pretty much shattered at the start of the event, which made keeping up with all of our incentives relatively tricky. So the total result of that alone, going to the Bay State Children's Hospital in Boston, it was $4,125 raised. Plus, I had already put in from my own channel to the overall Extra Life, not my personal thing, but just like into Extra Life during the Extra Life United event, another 200. So thanks to all of you in the community, this year we currently have raised $4,325 for Extra Life, which is by far the best year I've ever had. Also, the team that I am a part of, Mason's Little Warriors, it's part of the Good for Gaming. If you haven't heard of them, it's just the team that I've been part of. With our contribution, the team of 100 of us is currently sitting at $62,188 raised for the Children's Miracle Network this year. So you are all unbelievably supportive. Like, it's nice because we don't need to be at it. Holy shit. I cannot thank all of you enough. You came out in force and made this event so amazing, and it's so great. So thank you everybody so much.
It was definitely a fantastic 48 hours, and even though we sort of, at least, well, not Lotus, but Pixie and I, even though we kind of signed our souls away for a duration of time, it was 100% worth it. Lotus signed his physical body away, basically.
Yeah, I'm planning on when I can do the stream for this, because I also will be doing it on PC, I think. So at a date to be determined, I've got to figure out exactly when. I'll give everyone plenty of notice to come hang out with me while I do this. One of my incentives was for me to play on PC. The other incentive is that I will be doing vet dungeons while running a 5K. So that was also hit. So I just need to get myself up to vet rank ability or vet level ability on PC, and then we'll determine a date in which I need to run a 5K while trying to play video games, which that I feel like that's gonna really end. I'm gonna have to put a lot of pillows down. If I don't faceplant at least once, I will be shocked.
My main concern about that is like, so you know how when you're running, like your arms do this, right? But your arms will be fixed, so your upper body will be staying still, but your lower body will be so individually running.
Exactly it. Slap says running or completing. I'm going to basically do it as fast as I'm capable. I am much more into like lifting than I am into cardio. That's why I always make myself do a 5K every year, so it kind of keeps me focused. I've never done a 5K on a treadmill. I always do it on like an obstacle course, like one of those like Spartan race or something like that. So yeah, I have no idea what I'm getting into with this at all. Like none. So I'm gonna do it as quick as I can, but also attempt to play dungeons at the same time. I have no idea.
I'm so looking forward to that.
Me too. It's gonna be hysterical.
Yeah, I'd imagine it's gonna be toward the end of November, beginning of December. But like I said, I'll give everybody a heads up when I can get it all organized and everything to go, so that anybody who wants to watch me really duff pretty hard, I will make sure it is not hidden. So
I mean, at least you play a tank, so it's just pierce armor, hold block, and you're pretty much good.
Yeah. Oh man, it's gonna be like Baby Tank 101, I assume. Where it's like, why aren't you putting, any debuffs or any buffs on us? It's like, you're lucky I'm holding taunt.
So, Pixie, what did you... I mean, people already, I suppose, assumed, but what did you have to do for Extra Life to make it official,
I have to denounce AD for an entire month, so I have sold my soul until November 16th. I can't say anything nice about AD, and I have to actively say mean things when prompted.
HyperPixie Gaming, enemy number 1 of Aldmeri Dominion and Queen Iran.
I'm gonna cry.
And as for myself, as I introduced myself, I became the Arkhaniir Pokestick, as the name chosen by the chat. I am now a High Elf Templar, hence the Pokestick, because biting jabs. And I will have to level Arkhaniir Pokestick to level 50, and I will have to finish the entire Aldmeri Dominion main storyline. So, however long that takes, of course, except when I'm PvPing or stuff like that, I will be Arkhaniir Pokestick. So, yeah, that's gonna be fun. Just biting jabsing away at,
I hope everybody is happy right now, because I just had to say something bad about Razumdar in Twitch chat.
Yep. Using the spray bottle skill line.
So yeah, those are our updates. Those are why we haven't been around for, for the last few weeks, getting ready for Extra Life and then recovering from Extra Life, things like that. So now we are here and we can talk about news.
I thought it was Tales first.
So it really felt odd doing Tales first, because when we did Tales first, because we usually just derail with Tales, and it was like, god, it's been 7 hours and we haven't done Tales yet. I mean, news yet. So
okay, see you next week.
Yeah. So we are gonna do news first. All right, we have two main news points, and then we are gonna have one discussion topic actually that I really wanna discuss basically. So our first bit of news is that the spooky time has come to Elder Scrolls Online as well, with the Witches Festival event returning. It's been on since last Thursday, October 22, and it will run until Tuesday, November 3. So at the release of this episode, hopefully, you will still have about a week of, Witches Festival stuff to do. As per the previous years, you get a bunch of loot, you get a bunch of motis, style pages, event tickets, experience boost, and things like that. So if you have never done Witches Festival, how you start is you go into the Crown Store, you find the quest starters, and there, well, it will also be featured. There you will find the Witch Mother's Bargain, like quest related stuff. You will get it, and when you whistle it, it will be like a thing. A witch will appear, and she will give you a quest, and upon completing that quest, you will get a memento, which is the Witch Mother's Whistle. And using that memento, you will get 100% experience bonus, plus summoning a cauldron, which will transform your character into an undead spooky thing. From that on, you can just start murdering your way through the bosses of Tamriel, which will give you a whole bunch of rewards, including, this is new, Pieces of the Throwing Bones Memento, which you will need 10 of to, finish the memento. I actually haven't seen this because I haven't been in the game since our Extra Life Marathon. I've been sort of cooling off from my Elder Scrolls actions. Hollowjack style items, which is our discussion topic today, we will get there. Dremora style items, Witches Festival themed recipes, Witches Festival themed furnishing and furnitures and their recipes, bewitching alchemy regents, and an assortment of creepy items that you will be able to just sell to the merchants or keep in your inventory for fun, because they can be fun little items that you can use in role playing or whatever, just linking in chat. That's at least what we used to do. There's also more every day. So, first time you slay each different type of boss each day, you will receive a Dremora Plunder Skull box, which will contain a bit more rewards. And those will contain Dremora motif chapters, Witches Festival wreaths, which will also get you an achievement that will give you a hat and a title. You will find Grandmoril treasure maps. You will use these to find Grandmoril weapon styles in Tamriel. Grandmoril armor styles and Grave Dancer weapon style pages, which is also new. And I think the new weapon style is visible on this picture. That
like
at least
that bone scythe and stuff.
Yeah. At least if you are watching this in the video format. If not, I actually don't know how to describe it. They kind of look Argonian to me. At least, that's the vibe I'm getting from them. Maybe.
They all have skulls, so they're great for necromancers.
Right. I was going to say, it's really got the Argonian. Yeah, there's skulls, in the...
All right.
It's got, an Argonian necromancer vibe going real hard.
I love it. I honestly, I'm rocking the staff right now on my necromancer. I love it. I want to figure out how to... I kind of want to make a necromancer tank just because of the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
And because I always run Argonian tanks anyway. So I say that because I have one tank and it happens to be an Argonian.
That's 100% of them, though.
Exactly. So I always run Argonian tanks. So I kind of want to make an Argonian necromancer tank just because of that shield.
I didn't realize they were skulls until you said it. I had to basically plant my face onto my monitor to actually notice that they were skulls. That's why I went with Argonian, because I thought there was some those Argonian totem type things.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah,
around their chest and stuff like that, you can kind of see the ones on the shield. It reminds me a lot of, if you're I know they're specifically in Fang Lair, those necro totems that are everywhere, and it's just the mud that's fused and the skulls are in it. It looks like someone took one of those and made it into a shield.
Actually, yeah. I wonder if it has, so how some items have lore written for them, or some style pages have lore written for them.
Yeah, like Grave
I
Dancer.
wonder what the lore for this says. If I get it, or if anyone has it, and I don't know if you can actually read them, because I think, well, not with style pages. With the motif pages, there is actually a lore book that you kind of discover when you, double click it and use it.
Yep.
I don't think it happens with style pages though.
No, it just pops into your collections.
So I guess these, because it's a style pages, I don't think these will have it. But
yeah, that would make. Yeah, I think you're right.
So the Remora motif pages drop from a whole bunch of different bosses for different parts of it. So final arena bosses drop the bows and legs. World events like Dark Anchors, Gazers, Bosses, Craglorn, Focus Points, Harrow Storms, Zone Dragons drop the daggers and glows. Dell bosses drop staves and belts. Final dungeon bosses drop helmets and maces. Public dungeons, Imperial City bosses, quest bosses drop shields and boots. What is boots doing there, Lotus?
Well, she gets tired of sleeping, so sometimes she jumps in game. Now is not one of those times. She is
Does she
currently
appreciate
snoring.
being dropped by bosses?
She, to be fair, she'd probably just be happy to be included.
I love her so much.
For context, Boots is Lotus's corgi.
Yes, that is my pet corgi, who is... I don't think her snoring usually gets caught up on mic. Sometimes you'll hear little squeaky sounds. That's when she's playing with her toys.
Yeah.
But yeah, right now she
sound
is...
we hear, and whenever she basically bumps the door, that also we hear, but snoring never really. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, she is upside down on my futon right now, snoring. One chicken nugget is, in the air, which is pretty much what her feet look like. So. Final trial bosses drop swords and chests, and world bosses drop the shoulders and axes. And remember, every time you kill one of these, for the first time you kill them, you get a Dremora Plunder Skull box that also has, fancy rewards. In addition to the just basic Plunder Skulls that you get every time you kill whatever boss. So yeah, basically just kill a whole bunch of bosses and you get a whole bunch of rewards. Now again, with the you also get event tickets for the first time. You get a Dremora Plunder Skull, and this time it's 3 event tickets per day. And again, you can use it for another Indrik, which is the Crimson Indrik this time. It's sort of this Crimson Indrik with a reddish aura on the antlers. It looks, to be honest, better than most other Indriks. However, is this the 16th variety of Indrik that we are getting? I think this is the one that they've said is the final Indrik, though, isn't it?
Is it?
I believe
finally,
so.
Did we finally get there?
I think this is the final Indrik. After this event, all Indriks are extinct, and we're going to move on to something else, I believe.
They gave us my favorite color for last, so I have to have this one.
The Nafa Indrik.
I mean,
yes.
I don't want to go on to the same rant for the 7th time, I think, because I've talked about this a bunch of times during the previous event news section that we were doing.
Exactly.
But
so
honestly,
it's
3 years of Indriks. Somerset expansion, Elsewhere expansion, now Greymore expansion, 3 years of events. We only had varieties of a single mount as a reward. Come on.
Yeah, we're still... It is really awkward that when you think of when Indriks were introduced into the game, Somerset was the current chapter.
Yes. 3 years ago.
Yikes.
Halfway in, half time of ESO existed for 6 years. 3 years of that 6 years, we've been gathering Indriks, right?
Has it been... Because, hold on. I know it was a while after Somerset was released that we got these. I think it was actually when Elsewhere was released and we started doing this. So I think it's only been
I think it
year
was
and a half,
the 4th
2 years.
quarter of that year was when they went in. Because
2.5 years.
2.5 years. Because no, you're right. Because when Elsewhere
Sorry, I
dropped,
just felt like I feel old now.
Yeah, when we were, I think it was the end of the year because we were trying to explain it going into the New Life Festival, and we were doing such a terrible job of it because it was like, wait, so we need the tickets to buy the berries to then make the berries into an Indrik, and then we need the feathers to modify the thing. And Dominic Davies was like, good God, here's a graph. And he literally just gave us a chart because it was so embarrassing having us try to explain it. And we ended up using that. So.
Also, not Dominic Davies, Damien, please.
Oh, yes, Damien. Yes,
Damien.
my mistake. My apologies.
Because that's what you get when you mix Dominic and Davies. In my mind,
correct.
apparently, it becomes Damien.
My mistake, Damien.
Has it really been 2.5 years already? Because I feel insanely old right now. Because it feels like it wasn't that long ago.
It really was.
It's been.
God.
I mean, the only game I've played for over like 6 years is Age of Empires 2, which I'm still playing. Like that's the only game I've played for this long. Now Elder Scrolls Online. But
This is the only game I've played for this long, other than like continuously going back to like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask and occasionally replaying them, but it's like sporadic when that happens.
Going back to, we could have had Indrix for Somerset, and then those Sancho rats or something like that for elsewhere, and its varieties for that year. And a Nordic mount for Greymore and this year.
Just all the bears for this year. Yep, just piles of
Instead,
bears.
we kept getting this stupid Somerset fancy elven mount thingy that I'm also angry about because it's an Indrik and it belongs to Somerset, so I don't like it by default. But that's a whole different topic.
So I feel so when Somerset came out, I saw the Indrik for the first time. And I thought it was one of the most gorgeous things I had ever seen. I was like, I want that as a mount. I bet you they're going to make it a mount. And I thought they were so cool. But now there's just a whole bunch of these fuckers. There's so many of them. I missed one and it's driving me crazy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. It's just the lack of variety in them, I think, wore down the majority of everything. So it's just like, oof. I just assumed they would be a little more, seasonal. Not here's a blue one, here's a red one. But, okay, Season of the Dragon, here's your cat. Season of Somerset, even though they weren't seasons yet, here's your Indrik. Okay, we got the Greymore, the Dark Heart of Skyrim, year type of deal. Okay, here's your bear or your
wolf, whatever, something.
Iceberg. You can slide around on an iceberg.
I will say, even though we're all kind of over the Indriks, I will say I do appreciate them adding another in-game, no purchase necessary
100%.
mount that's not
Love
just a
that.
horse.
Yeah.
I remember
Yes.
that was one of my friend's biggest complaints in the beginning.
When they first added Indrix, I was like, yes, all right, this is awesome. We get a mount
Right.
And then they got... Okay, I rarely criticize ZeniMax Online with things they do, but this is one of the parts I do. Then they got super lazy with it.
I know what you mean. It's
giving
just
giving the same mount, just reskinning for nearly 3 years was... honestly, to me at least, a slap in the face for being happy that we were getting a mount that is not Crown Store buyable, but was achievable in the game.
I don't think you're alone in feeling that. I'm sure if I cared more about cosmetics, I might too. But I'll be very curious to see how far they go with our new version. What do we get
Hopefully
next?
not 3 years.
Yes. Hopefully the turnaround's a little quicker. But I'll just be curious. Do we get something entirely new? Because that would be pretty cool, and I think a lot of people would let a lot of this go if it turns out the next thing is also okay. This is worth it. Let's just not drag it on quite so long.
I will say, hopefully they continue kind of what they've done in the past in listening to player feedback, because I feel like everybody's kind of echoing the same sentiment. Yes, we love the earnable mounts, but please give us a little bit more variety. So I'm hoping that maybe we'll have 1 year for each new type of mount. I think that would be a pretty good balance, because then it's not like they're having to reinvent the wheel every event, but just 1 year you get X number of cinches. 1 year you get X number of bears. 1 year, like Durzogs and Rams would be cool because those are some new ones that they introduced. So I'm hoping that since like the entire community has pretty much said the exact same thing, like, yes, we love that you're doing this. Can you please do it slightly differently because now we're a little bit burned out on the Indrix, that they're gonna kind of shift. Because they've done stuff like that in the past. Like, you know, the Necromancer class was something that was that the players wanted. The sticker book thing that we're gonna get into in a minute with the set collection. Like, that's something the players wanted because we're tired of grinding this stuff. So I think that I'm just really hoping that they take our feedback and they adjust a little bit. Because it is really cool that they're giving us in-game purchasable or in-game earnable mounts. There is the Sunspire one too. That's the only other one that I can really think of off the top of my head other than the starter horse and the purchasable horses. But I do really hope that they kind of take what they've learned going forward from the players and make that adjustment. I think a year is a good time for the same mount over and over again.
Yeah. Like as you said, a year. 4 different varieties each quarter, and then a new one. That would be cool. But yeah, we'll see. I'm glad to hear this is the last of them because Gone Crazy Back Soon in chat also said yes when we were talking about this being the last one. I think it was that was towards this.
Yep, there's a few confirmations.
Yeah. So hopefully we are gonna get a new one. Like, even if I loved the Indrik, I'm just against the principle behind giving the same thing over and over again. That's just I have a problem with the concept. So
I get it.
Anyway, moving on. Indrik feathers, Indrik berries, whatever. Group repair kits again. The Throwbones memento, the one you I guess collect. I'm just gonna scroll up to confirm. Yes, Throwing Bones memento you can also get with event tickets. Grave Dancer weapon style pages, and this is new, the grab bags. Now, what are the grab bags? Grab bags are the box that contains the previously collectible items from the previous, Witches Festival event, which might contain Hollowjack motif pages, Skeletal Marionette memento, Apple Bobbing Cauldron fragments, and Spectre mask collectibles. This will 100% contain an item that you don't already have. So
which
say
is awesome.
Yeah, that's actually really great. Like, it's not a terrible RNG system. So it will 100% drop something that you didn't have before. And once you have everything, it will become disabled for purchase, basically.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah, so it's a really great way to gather stuff from the previous year's events and things like that. So definitely go check it out. Check if you are missing anything, and if you are, check the grab bags out.
And a quick thing to add with the grab bags, if you purchase like a whole bunch of them and then like as you're opening them, you get everything, instead of getting the same thing again, even though it should be like unavailable for purchase, if you've already purchased it before you opened all of them and it became unavailable, then you're just going to get a bunch of group repair kits.
Yeah, right, yeah.
That's
Thanks
cool.
for pointing
I didn't
that
actually
out,
see that.
So basically,
Interesting.
Get a bag, open it before you get a second bag, just to make sure you, don't get duplicate stuff, because then they can check whether if you actually have the item or not.
Programmer's nightmare.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I have a question. Are we going to delve into the negative with this as well?
Which part? Because I've been talking about the Indrik negative for the 5
no, the negative to this grab bag.
Negative to the grab bag, which is...
Okay,
what?
So there is a weird side effect to the Hollowjack motif that I actually had not realized until our very own benevolent Bodhi brought it up on Twitter. And
that's going to be our discussion topic. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
so we are going to get into that because I was like, that one. Okay, that was what I was curious on. I was like, are we gonna talk about that little.
Didn't I put it in the show notes? Did you not?
I was panic typing in the show notes.
It just says Hollowjack motif / event tickets, and I saw the thing on Twitter, but I was busy, so I didn't process what was being said. So this is going to be news to me. So expect shocked pixie face in just a minute for video.
We'll get your live reaction.
All right. There are also some Crown Store deals and a new house guest, which is the Sister Gelana, this Witch Reach type house guest. The more house guests they give, the happier I will be, unless they get super expensive, honestly, because I'm finally having... Oh, apparently it's going to be 1,500 crowns. There you go. That's a little bit expensive.
Oh, nice.
But, like,
well, I was thinking 1,500. That's my ESO plus crowns. So I'm like, yes, I can get it.
So, yeah, this is Witches Festival. Started at October 22, almost a week before this show, and it will run until November 3, about a week after this show is released. So you still have time. Now, the other bit of news we have already sort of touched before, or we skipped an episode, I actually do not remember. But this is a part of the Mark Art DLC that is coming in November. They mentioned this during the ESO Live that they were announcing the Mark Art DLC. This is the new item set collection system, which will be a blessing to everyone who's hoarding a whole bunch of item sets in their banks and in their inventories and in their coffers, basically wherever they can squeeze them. Now, all those items, except the crafting ones, when you sell them or deconstruct them or research them, basically get rid of them, they will be transferred to a new collections menu for all those item sets that you have collected. And you will always be able to craft them back from that menu, given you have enough transmute crystals, which we will get into the details of it in a bit. But basically, every item that you have will be, when you get rid of them, except the crafted ones, will be transferred into a collections menu with a whole bunch of filters. You can filter by zone, by dungeon, by DLC dungeon, by trial, arena, PvP. I actually don't know how to pronounce that word, the last miscellaneous. Miscellaneous, there we go. Now I know how to pronounce it. Or miscellaneous, which I actually am curious. Which sets are considered miscellaneous?
Good question.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of a set that would be miscellaneous in this set of categories. Like, it's either...
Would it be classified? I'm looking at the list. Is it monster sets?
Oh my! Well, I mean,
Well, that would be dungeons.
Or
yeah,
maybe the antiquity ones, because I don't know if the antiquities will be included in this.
Okay.
But they say only the crafted ones won't be included in this, so I guess antiquities will also be part of this. Yeah.
Yeah, so that would be. It was also mentioned. What do you call it? 2 or 3 piece sets. I would think those would fall under PvP.
Yeah, because like agility, endurance, willpower, and whatnot.
You get them out of.
Or like potentantes or potentatus, whatever. Those are all. Yeah. I would say PvP.
I think you're right. It's got to be the mythics.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing I'm not seeing fall into any of these categories.
Yeah. So you will also be able to filter with a keyword, apparel type, weapon type, show or don't show locked ones, and things like that. And it has this lovely outfit style like window where it shows the unlocked items and locked items, every piece available for that set, and it shows the transmute crystal cost for basically recrafting that item. Now, the transmute crystal cost, at the current way it sounds like a nightmare with 200 maximum transmute crystals. So the base cost for recrafting an item, I think, will be 60 transmute crystals. But the more of that set that you have, it drops all the way down to, if I remember correctly from the ESO Live event, it drops all the way down to 25 transmute crystals.
Yeah, I believe so.
And our transmute crystals limit will be increased to 500 for non-ESO plus and 1,000 for ESO plus members from the 200 that it is currently. So we won't have to worry about the transmute crystal cost. And when, say you reconstructed an item using 25 transmute crystals, when you deconstruct it back, you get that 25 transmute crystals.
Yep.
So once you get all the way up to 1,000 transmute crystals or whatever, you can just craft a whole reconstruct. It'll be called reconstructing. You can reconstruct a whole bunch of sets, and then when you are done with them, you can just get your transmute crystals back, and you don't have to worry about reiterating anymore, because you will be able to reconstruct these in any trait you want as long as that trait is researched.
Yes.
So this
is a very user-friendly system.
It will be beautiful. It will be beautiful. Your bank space, your inventory space, your coffers, they will be all cleared of all that. Like, I have 15 pieces of Plague Doctor, 700 pieces of Battalion Defender. I have 5 pieces of Heartland in case I want to try that. I have 5 pieces of Swordslinger and 5 pieces of Hunting's Rage because whenever I'm questing, I have all the monster sets that I might try or change. I have Black Rose because I can't, I have a sentimental connection to that set, and then I have this and that. It's like a nightmare of inventory space. So this will really help.
And on top of that, being able to reconstruct it in different traits without having to run to a transmute station and all of that, it's super useful because then it just makes it feel a lot less grindy. So and the fact that they're increasing the transmute things, because I know I'm kicking myself for it now that I need transmutes for things, but I got destroyed so many uncracked geodes because I just couldn't hold anymore, and I had no reason to use any of them. And I know I broke my own heart and several other people's every single time I did it, but I didn't have anywhere I could put them. And it was per account, not per character, so it wasn't like I could send them to someone else. They're also character bound, so I couldn't give them to friends. I just had to destroy them.
All right, I don't really know why I would tell you this. I think I might have said this on the show before, but if you don't have any use for transmute crystals, which quite often I have more transmute crystals than I can use, take a trash item and transmute it to Nirn-toned, then break it down, and you get the Nirn Crux at a 50% chance. So then you get potent Nirn Crux, which is worth 15k a piece.
What a life hack.
I must have missed that.
That is so... Oh, wow. Okay.
I must have missed that.
I
feel so dumb now.
I never have that much excess transmute crystals, but wow. Okay. Actually,
Yeah,
okay,
all right, I guess I haven't said
on.
that on the show yet. By the way, tips like this are why I'm rich.
That might be the exact reason. Hold on. That might be the exact reason why, when you reconstruct an item in any trait you want, it does require the usual materials, but not a trait material.
Correct.
This is probably why, so people don't just reconstruct, deconstruct, and just fill their inventory with potent Nirn Crux. So these items, now there's a catch. Say you have a gold set, right? A full golded out set. If you deconstruct that, when you reconstruct it back, it will, whatever that item's base drop quality is. So if it drops as a blue item normally, it will be reconstructed as blue. If it drops as a purple, it will be reconstructed as purple. So if basically don't deconstruct your golded out sets unless you're rich and don't care about buying, all the gold materials again so you can gold out everything again. But for all those purple sets and whatnot, like grain, solvent, whatever, they are cheap. They won't hurt you much, but the gold ones, you definitely might want to hold on to. And here it says be warned that while the item set collection system can help you manage your storage woes, think about what you're deconstructing before you pull the trigger. Your legendary quality perfect Arms of Reliquin set should probably remain safely stored in that coffer for now. Also, don't do any of this until this DLC hits. Like, this is when Markart DLC comes. But you won't have to own the Markart DLC. This will be one of the base game quality of patch improvements. So that's also really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I covered all of it, I believe. But we also have an FAQ that comes with this news part. So I'm going to go read that as well, see if we missed anything. How do I access my collected sets? You can access your item set collections from your collections UI menu, where you have your costumes, mounts, pets, things like that. It will be listed under a new section called sets. How do I add sets to my collection? Each time you equip, deconstruct, fence, research, or NPC vendor sell it, once the buyback time is complete, the item will be bound to your account and added to your item set collection. If you sell it to a player, this will not count. So it's gotta be completely gone, or you already equip it. If you sell it to a player, you already get your money, so it's not in your collections.
Right.
Which sets can be added to my collection? Almost all of them. You can add sets that you pick up from questing, overland content, trials, dungeons and more. The only items that cannot be added to your collections are crafted sets, which makes sense. Otherwise, this would hurt crafters. How do I reconstruct collected sets? You basically go to a transmutation station, enter the sets menu. From there, you can view, find the sets you want to reconstruct, click the reconstruct button. It will, if given you have the materials and everything like that, it will reconstruct. If you have the upgrade materials, you can also choose the grade, like quality that it will be reconstructed as, and that way you get a higher quality. How do I upgrade collected set items? When reconstructing an item, you can also choose to give the item a trait and upgrade its quality. So you can do it while you are reconstructing it. But so yeah, you will still need all the materials that you need. How do I deconstruct a reconstructed item? You just go to a crafting station like normal and deconstruct it, and you will get your transmute crystals in full back. But the amount of normal materials like tempering, alloy, whatever you get is just as normal. Should I deconstruct all my gear now that I have the item set collection? No, is the short answer. Hold on to the items of high value, like the gold items and things like that, and the rest you can deconstruct. That's the summary of it, I'd say, which is, wasn't really a summary. But yeah, basically our inventories will be very, very, very nice after this change. And as I just bombarded this section, it might be a little bit confusing, but once the system is out and you can actually access it in the game, it will be pretty straightforward. Like, basically every item that you have, the bound items like drop sets, whatever, go into this menu, and if you want, you can just reconstruct them without having them in your inventory, is the summary of it. Ooh. Remember how I said at the beginning, like, I might separate sections for YouTube? See, this will probably be a section.
Yeah.
Smart.
Her Ark reading all of that.
Yeah.
So that it's digestible.
I mean, I did wait for, like, at the end for a few seconds to hear a sound from you guys, but I think Lotus was typing, and Pixie I put to sleep while reading all that.
I was digesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
to be fair, that pretty much covers what it is. It's not overly complicated, but there is like a lot to it.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much make sure that when you get something, if you don't want to farm it again, equip it first so that it locks to you.
Actually, it does work if you deconstruct it or fancy it or whatever as well. Yeah, you don't even need to equip it. Yeah, you don't even need to equip it. As long as you don't sell it to other players.
Right.
It's fine.
My big thing is I just want it to say the word bound. Then I know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the safest way to, I guess,
yeah, then it's like I can sell it, I can break it, whatever. It's just like once it says the word bound, then I'll trust that I can get rid of it.
So I might have missed this in the explanation, but do you see like under, if you look at the picture there, like under where it says Queen's Elegance, it has like a progress bar. Yeah. And I've noticed that the cost is different. So as you find more pieces of that set, does that cost go down?
Yes. It goes from, I think, 60 base cost to all the way down to 25 per item reconstructed. Yeah. Right.
That was the only question I had about it.
Yeah. Which is good. Like, if it was 60... like crafting a full 5-piece 300 transmute crystals, that was gonna be rough. Yeah, but
I also kind of like that they make is super weird, but I like the fact that even for sets like Alkosh, like the amount of times I've needed to farm the Mauve Lorcage for whatever, my stupid lightning staff and shield that I couldn't get for the longest time, I just like the fact that it then makes all the garbage pieces that I would never use unless I want to be a medium armor tank. Like, I've never cared about any of the body pieces. Well, now suddenly it's like, well, if I get a body piece, okay, well, it makes the overall cost cheaper. Yep. So it almost encourages you to farm the full sets as opposed to just the parts you need, which is kind of neat. It added a grind while taking away a grind. So it's like...
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it. Like, there will be people trying to 100% this.
Oh, I'm sure.
Basically, just 100%
the whole collect
the sets.
them all thing, too. Like, now we can see all the set pieces that we have and don't have. That was something, like, as soon as I saw the graphic, I'm like, the Pokemon trainer in me wants to just have all of these.
Yeah, Kiz says Lotus is one of those people.
Well, it depends. Is there an achievement for collect all crap in game? Because then I'm gonna have a problem.
Honestly, I would kind of think that that they would put an achievement like that, like collect every item in the game type of. Collect
tell
every.
Them that. Don't say that so they can hear this.
No. They should hear this. No, that's a good idea. It's a good idea.
You're a monster.
You brought this upon yourself. All right, so now comes the part. Basically a hot topic from ESO fam. The Hollowjack motif and the change to how it is collected. So this...
Controversy time,
exactly. So this was posted on the forums. It was brought to the attention of the community by someone on the forums. And to us, it was brought to our attention by our good friend Benevolent Bov D, who actually has his own command on our channel.
Yeah.
Now I will feel weird not seeing him type the "I love that site" trademarked. All right, so Lotus. I've talked too much. Explain this.
Okay, so the situation with this new way that the Witches Festival is going down is the Hollowjack motif, which has been here since the very first Witches Festival, is now no longer being excessively dropped. It's not being dropped, period. But when I say excessively dropped, for anybody who has been in previous Witches Festival events, you want to talk about clutter. It is this motif. It has flooded the market where you just end up with literal millions of these stupid things to get the Hollowjack motif. It's the same style motif. You got the 14 pages. However, it is now being taken out of the general loot pool. You can get it, as Ark had mentioned, out of this grab bag. It's not going to give you repeat pieces, but in order to do that, you need to spend your event tickets on these grab bags. This essentially locks anybody who didn't have these originally behind this odd wall of, well, you can buy it from a guild trader, which the prices have skyrocketed from what I've heard. They're going from, originally you couldn't give these things away, they were less than vendor trash, to I've heard in the range of 90k per piece if you're lucky.
Okay, so my bank, my Silver Shield clan bank that I no longer use, but it's been there. My bank, and I'm pretty sure DCM Bank also has it, Drunkenborn's Bank also has it. Probably dozens of these.
Ooh.
So I'm also thinking like, ooh, yeah, I know, right? It sounds fun. But I updated my Tamriel Trade Center price table. I went back, I logged in just before the show, and it still showed like 300 gold, 400 gold. Maybe the price table of Tamriel Trade Center didn't update yet, or I don't know. I don't know what's happening there, but
so
there should be so many of these sets in the market that, like, in guild banks, in people, that 90k.
So this is what I've been seeing, and my thing is, which is something I always say. Now, despite the fact that I've been hearing that it's like, oh, you know, they're selling for like 90k. One caveat I always put next to this. Now, granted, if you're a Tamriel Trade Center, that's calculating used sales. So, like, it's giving you variable like that. People post things for stupid prices that I'm like, why even pay the outrageous listing fee for doing? Nobody's going to buy this. So I'm wondering if the market is trying to charge 90k, but people aren't buying at 90k, if you follow what I mean. Because one of the best examples is Powerful Assault, the set. People want the most nonsense prices for the staffs. And the staves are, like, when I was looking to buy one, because my RNG sucked on that and I couldn't get one. I got everything else out of the random Telvar grab bag. Couldn't get a staff. I was like, all right, I have to buy one of these. And as I'm looking, it's 400,000, 500,000. I was like, oh, come on. For an off-trait ice staff, you're 500,000. Like, get out of here. This is ridiculous. And there were a ton of them. And there's a ton of them because nobody's buying them. That's the thing. Which was the one that I bought? The one that I found for 80,000. That was the one I purchased, meaning all that other trash is just going to sit there. Maybe one person gets desperate and buys it, but it's like, that doesn't mean that it's worth that just because people keep trying to charge for that is all. Like I said, actually, I didn't realize. Apparently, TTC does just do listings. It doesn't count sales.
Yeah,
okay, so never mind. It
doesn't count sales. It does listings.
Oh,
so
well,
I'm
that's
actually
the same exact problem.
I'm actually on the TTC website. I'm looking through PC NA values as well now. So all the way on to 3 days ago. So 3 days ago, the listings started with like 2,000 to some like 200 gold, some like 2,000 gold, right? And the more recent you get, 17 hours ago, there's 900 gold, and then there's 32,000 gold, and then there's 8,000 gold. So the more recent you get, the frequency, or I guess like quantity of above 25k listings have increased by a lot, whereas the number of like low value listings dropped.
Gotcha.
So I guess people are trying to indeed sell this.
Yeah. Also, apparently, I was thinking of Master Merchant. That's
Master
the one that
Merchant does calculate sales.
I had those inverted. Yeah. That's okay. That's what I was thinking of. Then add-ons are weird.
So I mean, I'm thinking quiet for just a bit. Because
Sorry?
I was actually so I went quiet for just a bit because I wanted to actually log into my crafter in the game to see, because I mean, as I've said before, I've played this game on 3 platforms. I know that on Xbox I had all of these style pages because I had a full Hollowjack set for a while that I would wear as my outfit. I just logged in, I'm missing like 5 pieces of it, And then I was like, I remember seeing a conversation among some streamers about the exercised coven. And I just look, I have none of those achievements. And one of those achievements is happy work for Hollowjack, which is you have to have every single Hollowjack thing. So now I understand why people are upset.
This is where the problem comes from. Yep.
I went quiet and I had people whispering me in game as I was just logging in. They were like, why are you logging in? Why are you being a bad podcaster? It's because I was trying to figure out what the deal was for just a second there. So I did the research.
It's that achievement.
And now I understand.
Basically, the house is tied to having the full set of Hollowjacks.
Which is now much harder for new players to get. The thing is, it's... I don't know. I get this. This is... As a quote-unquote veteran, as in, like, I've been here for a long time, not necessarily anything like, oh, I'm good, but I've been looming in this game for many, many years. So I am, like, one of the long-time players. And the thing about it is, oftentimes, it's brought up that it's like, well, nothing is done to reward players that are, like, long-time players. It's a lot of new player-friendly stuff. I hate to say this because I don't necessarily, like, feel like that personally. Like, I don't ever feel slighted when things are tilted toward new player experiences. This pretty much is like a, if you weren't here from the beginning, the old event is now much harder for you to do. Like, this has become almost like an elite status thing, with whether or not they meant to do that, which is a little peculiar, but also sort of kind of what people ask for at the same time. I just don't personally like it because it's like, well, I mean, it's...
I think...
Just because you weren't here for the first few events, it seems lame that now you can... But again, I guess you can also dig your way out of it by buying event tickets and doing that too, which...
See, that's what the entire thing is, honestly, in my opinion, about. Like, this is not about rewarding veteran players, because that's not how you do it, basically. You don't reward veteran players by making something that was available to, like, 8 million veteran players suddenly rare. That's not how you do it. This is it's a monetization thing. Or,
it is.
We ran out of ideas thing.
Or they're trying something and it was kind of like, oh wait, this is weird.
Because for the last few events, Hollowjack motifs meant nothing, because
literally nothing.
There were already so many of them in the market, and every event it just doubled, tripled, quadrupled.
Same thing with the
people just deconstruct
the
it wasn't even vendors selling it anymore, just like getting rid of it.
The same thing with the outfit styles during the anniversary event, the gold pages. My God, they like profit wraps. Here's 62,000 profit wraps. Also, they don't stack. It's like, why? Why is this happening? Like, and the thing is, it's awkward, but it's people were saying for a long time, at least on in the groups that I play with on people, I would rather get nothing than have to take the 3 seconds to delete these, which I totally get, but now the problem is almost like flipped on its head, where it's like, well, if you're here for the old events, theoretically you don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. But that sucks for anybody who hasn't been there from before. It's like, oof, good luck trying to get this now without spending money or whatever.
Here's the problem. The problem is they don't do anything new with these. That's the problem. Witches Festival, Imperial City Celebration, New Life Festival, this and that and this and that. They've given the same rewards, the same style event with the same challenges for so long that, like, the veteran players grew tired of it. And now that they want to manage it, new players are like, well, 10 million players for the last 6 years got it all easily. Now why am I being punished? Which they are right. Now, if they had done, okay, you know what? No longer Hollowjack motifs. That's it. They don't drop in any way. Instead, we are introducing this new thing, which both the new players and old players have to gather in the same way, which is rare, whatever, however hard it is. But old players, new players, they are same. Then neither would have complained this much, in my opinion, because new players would be, or the defense for old players would be like, well, we were here, it was an event, we gathered what we gathered, here's there in our banks, whatever, if you wanted to grab it, or we are selling it for this value, but now we farm this new thing together. But now there's like,
So
I have an abundance of this and I'm gonna sell this to you at a very high price than it was worth just a week before, and you have to work for it, or I don't know, it's just this much repetition causes these problems, in my opinion. Like,
I agree, but then Kiz brought it up, and it was something I was going to mention too. Then you have the problem of, if the style was now no longer available, you have essentially padlocked. You just want to go from the achievement aspect, let alone the collection aspect. I wasn't here originally, so now I literally just can't get this content. So you're going to have the new players be furious, and the old players be kind of like, whatever. Like,
well,
so
precisely, yeah. I mean, I guess with the achievement being there, it doesn't make sense, because achievement, like, if it was just the motif, I would say that's the way to do it. But there's an achievement tied to it as well, which is yeah.
So
that throws things off. That throws things off.
In this situation specifically, I think they were trying to see which was the least.
I think they just wanted to sell event tickets, and
they were probably like, okay, can we kill two birds with one stone? Because obviously, from a marketing standpoint, they're probably told, like, make people buy things, like buy the things. So, okay, how do we make people buy stuff? Oh, people constantly talk about how obnoxious it is to have all of these pages. Well, let's just put them in this situation where if you don't already have them, which in the grand scheme of things is going to be a relatively small portion of players, I believe, compared to the people who actually already have them. Because even with like the influx of players to the game, it's not to the degree. It's like, oh, we had 1 million people, or, I think with Greymore, it's like, we had 2 million people join for Greymore. That's a lot of people. There were already 13 million of us who would play. So it's not going to affect as many people as the other thing. And it's like, well, we can also make money while we're at it if they really do care about this. And then there's also the way you theoretically, if you find people who have them in game, you can get them either via trade if people are nice, or earn a lot of money and then buy them at Guild Store. It's really, this is an awkward situation, because it's like, well, how do you make it different without also allowing it to be accessible to those who weren't there before?
Right.
That's the thing, you introduce something new and don't touch the old one that has always been there, so you don't have this problem. You just ignore it, like,
which I think that's the problem. Is maybe it was just a console thing, but the amount of complaining that I heard from people getting the same crap in their inventory, like even when they added the Dremora pages, because that was new. It was originally just Hollowjack, and then they did Hollowjack and Dremora. Everybody was all about Dremora, but the Hollowjacks would also be in there, and they're like, oh, these stupid Hollowjack trash always in my inventory. I'm like, without it physically being I'm wondering if they were trying to appease people at the same time, but it did not it caused, whether it was intentional or not, it seems like it almost caused an unforced error at the same time of like, okay, fine, you keep complaining about it, then nobody cares about this. But here's one solution if you weren't here. But then it's like, well, now this just feels like you're oddly sort of gatekeep. I don't know. It is a mess. Like, it is a weird situation that just feels awkward.
I really think it's kind of what you just hit on, is that people were like, oh, these are useless. Oh, these are useless. So they removed it from the drop and they introduced the grab bags. I don't know if it was... I really think they might have just been trying to appease people.
I think this struck me as an oversight that could also potentially make them money, not necessarily as nefarious as some people seem to think it is.
Right, and I think it wouldn't be... I think a lot of people, honestly, wouldn't even notice it was a thing if it wasn't tied to the house. And I don't know if they just kind of overlooked that, because in the grand scheme of things, it seems like something that would be kind of easy to miss because it's like, okay, everybody already has this pretty much, or they just didn't even think about the achievements because a lot of people just buy houses with crowns and stuff. So I don't know if there was anything really malicious or money grabby behind it, but as somebody who's now, I've logged in and confirmed that I am affected by this, yeah, it sucks. Like, I think also, too, we have to think about, okay, people are like, we need stuff to spend our event tickets on that aren't Indrix because we're all tired of Indrix. And they're like, okay, you can have these grab bags. So it's like the only people it affects are people like me who want the Indrix and also want the motif pages that don't drop anymore.
Right. Well, and this is, so there's two things. Like, one, you want to talk about, like, what can I spend my event tickets on that aren't the Indrix? I logged in incapable of buying a grab bag because I have everything. I can't get it. So like out the gate, that's irrelevant to me because like that's what I mean. It was like, that's not a thing I can get immediately. So it couldn't affect me less, but I like the fact that it's there for people.
Right.
One solution that I'm curious if it's actually like a solution, I wonder if they could untether the house to that achievement.
That would be one way to...
That would be nice.
Yeah.
Like,
that would be one way
like,
to just untangle this mess.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, well, we heard you. You still have the access to these if you want to spend your event tickets there. But if you want to buy this house, you don't have to break your wallet in half to try to do so because you weren't here originally. I don't know. That's maybe a thing they could do.
Yeah, that would be really nice.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, again, to me, it comes down to doing the same event for several years back to back with the same rewards. In my opinion, like the base concept was faulty, so now it blew up. That's how I see it. Like, just ESO has too many events. I keep saying this. Events are things that are supposed to fill unique times. Imagine if you had Christmas every month. It wouldn't feel like Christmas anymore.
Yeah. I wish they would stick to actual just, even if they're their ESO holidays, like just actual holidays, not so much with the celebrations. Like that's really what it is for me. Like
Witches Festival, New Life Festival, Imperial City Celebration, Orsinium Celebration, and then like Dark Brotherhood, Thieves Guild.
Yeah, trash. Throw those away. It's like we've got Mid-Year Mayhem multiple times a year, please. We've got Mid-Year Mayhem, Witches Festival, New Life Festival, Jester's Festival. Any other real event like based on holidays that I'm not thinking of? Like no celebrations. That's 4. That's workable. Like you can even make 1 or 2 more about actual holidays in the game, but just the celebrations feel very meh to me. It's just like these feel tacked on, where the events I do like them, but it's like, and I know people love the well, I guess the Undaunted thing is kind of a... Oh,
I love the Undaunted thing.
That's what I was
going
to say. The dungeon thing's neat. That's not really a celebration because it's not like here's this DLC. It's here's dungeons. So like you can say that one, but like it's the celebrations that feel very tacked on because they're not holidays. It's just like here's more stuff, and I definitely agree with you. It feels very
Yeah,
I mean, when they do the celebrations with the bonus XP, I really like the bonus XP whenever I'm leveling things. Do they still do that, though? Because I don't think they did last time.
The game already gives several thousand experience scrolls. Like, at this point, it's... I mean... You already have 50 experience scrolls and 100 experience potions in your inventory. Like you can make do without that 100%.
Yeah, I think for the most part with those extra events, I'm just kind of a slave to the Indrik at this point. So like I log in, do what I need to do to get my tickets for the event, and then just go do something else in the game. So yeah. It's kind of just a way, it's like a ticket generator for me right now. It's the way I use those celebration events. So I feel like if they do get rid of the celebration events, they would need to rework the amount of tickets needed Like, they need to... I mean, I know this is the last Indrik, but for whatever they move on to next, instead of the feather plus berry system, they would pretty much just have to make construct X mount system. And so essentially cut the amount of tickets you need in half. So say the next thing is a bear, like you need 4 bear claws or something, and then you don't morph it, you just get the bear for that event. So essentially make it to where like you just get the berries for the Indriks if we were still doing the Indrik thing, and not the berries and the feathers. Then I think they could drop out a lot of those extra events, but unless they fundamentally change that mount construction system with the event tickets for whatever the future mount is, they kind of need that as filler for people to accrue enough tickets to get things.
Right.
Actually,
No, that's a good
here's
point.
the thing. If they stop making 7,000 version of the same mount, you don't need that many tickets. That way you can just do 4 events across 1 year and get your mount. So
Right.
the problem we have is the repetition. Like same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and again.
Something I didn't realize, or consider when we were just talking about the difference between new player friendly. Sai in chat brings up the fact that the Witches Festival writs to do that are actually not new player friendly at all, as some of them apparently require level 38 provisioning or higher.
It makes sense though.
So that's not new player friendly either. It's something to work for, but I mean, I guess it's not a time restricted thing. I don't know. It's very hard.
I think they just stay in your inventory, like the New Life Festival writs. I had one for like 2 years because I forgot it was there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, and it's one of those things where like I'm always curious what other people's opinion are on these things, because since I've done every one of these events since it's launched and stuff, I'm always like, well, yeah, it's already done. Like, what do you mean? But starting up on PC, I'm a little surprised at some of the things. I'm like, oh man, I don't have any of this. This sucks. Like, it's awful. I don't want to do this. Like, just because it's been so long that I've just been, at max level because I've been there since the beginning. The fact that I started in Elsewhere for my storyline, I was like, what is this crap? Why am I not in the Whaling Prison? Like, what is this garbage? And they're like, oh, we revived you from a dragon attack. I was like, no, you didn't. I was like, put me in the Whaling Prison right now. I was like, I don't like this. So
I want to be sacrificed to Moloch Ball.
Yeah, I was going to say, someone needs to stab me right this minute.
And the thing about player friendliness is, it's an MMORPG. It's not supposed to be that new player friendly, because the entire concept of an MMORPG surviving for years depends on the power creep and things like that, so that players have something to do for years to come. If the players get to do everything from the first month there in the game, with like reach max level, get all the gear and things like that, an MMORPG will just die eventually. It has to have that artificially prolonged game time so that it keeps generating revenue. So there's also that. So not having, because I think it was Kiz in chat who said new players don't have that many, experience scrolls and experience potions in their inventory like we do. Well, they're not supposed to. They're supposed to level at the beginning. All those experience scrolls and whatnot, they're for your alts. For the 16th time that you level a character to level 50, not the first time. So yeah.
Hopefully they work something out. I think, like what Lotus was hitting on, that it was kind of an unintended side effect of them trying to appease certain people. And
yeah,
at least that's what I hope. Like, I hope it was just kind of a, oh crap, we might have just locked people out of a house kind of a deal. Because, I mean, I could see how that would be a really easy oversight if you're not really thinking about it. I hope that's how it was. I mean, I might just be coming off as naive by saying that. And I hope it was just kind of a balancing thing that they did, and that's why they added the grab bags or something, but I don't even know.
The fact that the grab bags are so, player friendly, like, that's definitely good. That
Right.
you know, because could you imagine if you get duplicates? Oh my god, like that's awful. But like,
First of all,
those
in
are-
that regard, I have zero faith in ZAS because of the battleground motif drops. Okay,
all right,
holy
touche.
hell,
I mean,
holy hell! It's I still don't have that shield. I still been doing my battlegrounds. Continue. Sorry.
Like no, that's it's funny because like that's just it. It's like that's very new player friendly, and my thing is, I mean, I tend to be somewhat skeptical, but like you know, I'm sure I don't catch every malicious thing companies do either, but my thing with that is it just. I got the feeling that just because maybe they were nudged toward like, well, they're obviously looking ways to monetize the game, as if that wasn't obvious enough. It's you know, but this one didn't strike me as a way that it was focused around that. It was kind of like,
Right.
okay, how can we get something out of the game that nobody seems to like anyways anymore because the market's so flooded with it. It's like, okay, so we get rid of that shit at the same time as we give people a way to get it still. But then there's this weird side effect also. It's like, well, maybe we can sell some more tickets. Oh, we also locked this off and people are pissed about that. Like,
Right.
it's
Shall
just
I
kind
give
of
you
the-
a super easy and player-friendly way that this, if this wasn't a monetization issue, that would have solved this entire problem? If you have the motif unlocked, it doesn't drop. If you don't have it,
Yeah.
it drops the way it used to do.
Boom. Yeah. I totally agree with that. I love that theory. It always makes me curious. Sometimes, and it's not just with this game by any means. There are other games I play so that it's not just sounding like I'm ripping on the devs because I really not. Most of what they do doesn't really bother me. Sometimes when somebody says an answer and it's really straightforward, I'm like, how? And then other times they'll like patch it in. And I'm like, nobody thought of this at first? Like, nobody on the dev team saw this as a thing. And it happens in not just ESO, but a lot of games. This set. Perfect example. Thrashian Stranglers, when they came into the game, players were basically yelling up and down, this isn't going to do what you think it's going to do. And surprise, they nerfed it into the ground because they put it in the game and it didn't do what they wanted because it totally nuked the hell out of everything. It's like, I wonder if stuff does slip by.
But it shouldn't. I mean,
No, it shouldn't, but
see,
that's my only guess.
I've worked at a mobile game development company for the last 3 years. 3 years, but the first year was the different company. The last 2 years was at a company with a game that was out for like 3 years and heavily monetized. 1.5 million daily active users. I've seen that. I mean, of course, it's mobile, but it kind of broke my faith in companies' monetization systems because I've seen the gates of oblivion beyond which no waking eye may see. I've been to meetings that I was like horrified as a gamer myself. Okay, it's it's oh my god. So and just like I just put out a solution, I've put out a bunch of solution to our production team or product team and things like that just got ignored, because they are not thinking from a gamer whatever perspective. They're thinking from a we need to make more money perspective.
Yes, which I guess.
I don't think it's that bad in ZeniMax Studios because mine was a full-on mobile gacha. Oh my goodness!
Right,
holy hell!
There is one thing that I always try to remind myself of because I know I'm in the incredible minority when it comes to this. What I care about in the games I play is not at all what the majority does. At all. Game companies make a fortune off cosmetic things that people play dress up in and they decorate themselves. And that is recently, over the past years, just objectively where companies make a lot of money. Could not care less about that. The next thing they do, not just ESO, although they have it, is the loot box thing that introduces the RNG aspect. Most people, whether they stay, a lot of people are just like, it's. I don't know if it's because of my family history with it or whatever. The second you make me gamble, I do not care about whatever it is. It just butchers my interest. So, like, I'm not, as weird as it, I'm not morally opposed to crown crates. I just think they're dumb. So I don't do it. Okay, I have literally just named the two biggest things ESO makes money off of as the two least interesting things I have. So, like, I always need to take the perspective of, I get it. Like, my perspective on games is a little weird, so sometimes I'm just like, oh, well, I don't know why they'd bother with that. Who would buy this? But I'm also of the type of like, well, why would I pay $20 for a mount? That seems weird. And most people nowadays are like, $20 for a mount? What a deal. Oh, boy. It's like, we are not on the same page. So that's all. It's like sometimes I don't think my perspective is necessarily super aligned, so I might miss stuff is kind of the point to that. Like, maybe I just don't see sometimes. It's like, well, this is done nefariously, and it's like, oh, like, I guess it could be. I wasn't going to buy it anyways, so I guess it never crossed my mind that it was done for any reason other than, like, here is the thing. Like,
but again, as I said, I just gave you the perfect solution to this. If it's a duplicate, it doesn't drop. For anyone who doesn't have it, it drops as frequently as before until they have the full set again.
Which
basically, grab
that
bags, but without requiring event tickets.
Yeah.
That would have solved this problem. And Kiss said, I don't think it was, I don't know if it was towards this, but Kiss said, I can see why they don't do that. People that don't do trials would be unable to buy motifs. Kiss, was that comment to how... to my solution, to this solution? Because if so, okay, if they don't do trials, they shouldn't get everything. If I don't do trials, I shouldn't get some things, because it's an MMORPG. Everything has a reward, specific certain reward. And if they're missing just two of the motifs, they can purchase that, because there will still be a huge abundance of Hollowjack motifs in people's banks and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, they wouldn't be able, so to kind of get at Kiz's point a little bit more, so it would hurt the in-game economy. So let's say they don't drop anymore. That means there's a finite amount of them in circulation, because the second you pick one up, like, you pretty much, it's not necessarily bound to you, but the second you pick one up, like, you either learn it yourself or you, like, don't get it. So you wouldn't be able to sell any excess or give it to a friend who doesn't already have it. Once everything that is currently at this moment in somebody's guild bank is gone, it's not coming back unless you don't already have it yourself. So
it's like a required earn, but then the market for it is
but it's the same at the moment
deleted.
as well.
Yeah,
because once people have it, they won't be able to get more of them, because grab bags will be disabled for purchase because they have the complete set.
So I'm okay with it for event stuff, especially for event stuff like this, where you can get them, like, for doing pretty much anything. And so a player who is, like, just a solo player or something could easily get these motifs. But, like what you were just saying, if you don't play trials, you just shouldn't be able to get it. But we are talking
Hollowjack motifs. I'm not talking about Sunspire, whatever motif. That those should sell. They sell for a good amount of money. They are something different. I'm talking in the sense of having 60 million Hollowjack motifs in the game, and Pixie's getting attacked by the cat.
Yep.
See, Arkhaniir Dominion has already turned against her.
He wanted to love me for like so long. He's been scratching at the door. It was getting picked up by my mic. So I'm like, yeah, you can come sit with me. Then he was just done. And I was trying to help him get down, and he started attacking. He wants to pull my watch off. So then he freaks out on my left arm constantly. And I was trying to keep him. Yeah, I was trying to be quiet about my suffering. But
no, totally fine. Being mauled. I was going to say, he also doesn't care for this motif fiasco.
But yeah, basically,
I don't know.
I just misunderstood what you said in response to Kiz whenever you said not everybody should have the trial stuff. As long as it's just for event stuff, like annoying event drops, then I'm on board with you.
Yeah.
But as
don't know.
long as we can
It's-
still sell all the stuff, like, earned in-game, like, the trial stuff, or the rare
sure.
dungeon drops, like the Fanglair chests or something. Like, I still want
man,
that
yeah.
stuff to drop so I can make money off of it
Right.
after I've already received it. But for the event stuff, yeah, I'm with you as a solution on that one.
Yeah.
So it took me,
I-
what? 30 minutes
3
of
minutes.
this discussion that I
3
came up
minutes
with
to
the
figure out your
solution.
solution.
There is no way someone at ZeniMax Online Studios didn't think of this. So from that logic, that's why I look for a monetization reason behind it. Like that's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's-
maybe my 2 years at a highly monetized mobile game development environment broke me, but
Yeah, well, I think what it is, I think it's a mix of both of these things, where it could be for this, and maybe it's some oversight, but at the same time, if you don't think they're trying to make money, you don't understand how business works. Like,
yeah.
the devs like doing their thing, but it's like they need to keep the thing running, and
Right.
higher ups, it's always the like balance. How far. How much can the devs do? Oh, Ark's blind.
Yeah, I just got blinded for a second by the Google Docs again.
How much do the devs get to just include in their product? And how
Right.
much do they need to balance out with needing to fund said product by the higher ups? It's
Right.
a balance. And for the most part, it's pretty rare that I have like strong opinions about like, I hate this. Like, there haven't been too many with ESO that I'm like, okay, this is no.
Yeah. So
I mean, a lot of players at this point are kind of, since they're selling for 90K apparently, and I've heard that
trying.
from more than just you guys too, from some other
Yeah.
people I had talked to.
Yep.
For new players or people like me who jumped around from platform to platform, and apparently I'm missing like several pieces, we're relying on a whole bunch of money in our banks, or the goodwill of others, or paying for it with money. And so, like, yeah, this was something that, again, I'm affected by, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go buy the house because it's actually within my price range. And like, so I log in, I'm like, oh, no, I'm not. I need to figure out something. Time to see if my friends have any they want to sell me at under
Yeah.
90K.
Right.
So I don't know. Yeah, if like there are ways to not make this happen, while still having while still pleasing the player base with 7 million of these. But it is what it is, I guess.
My response to the official post of it earlier is something more of like, okay, that this does seem problematic for new players. I totally get that. I'm more concerned to see, because right now I'm much more on the fence of, like I had mentioned, like, I don't know if this was really done, maybe just like poorly implemented to an extent that it wasn't. I'll be curious to see going forward, what does this get more aggressive, less aggressive? Does it stay the same? Because then I think that will either prove or disprove whether it was like, okay, yeah, this was just done and they found a way to correct it or whatever, or it's like, do they double down on this and suddenly more and more starts being done? Because then it's like, okay, that's concerning. Like, if going forward it gets more and more implemented, I think it's much more in terms of like maybe more in favor of what you were concerned about, Ark type of thing. Was this done solely monetarily? Like, whereas right now I think it's pretty up for debate, where it's like, it could, if they double down on this, then it's like, oh, that's not good. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. So,
yeah, we are not that far into. Okay, I thought we were past 2 hours, but no.
No.
Yeah.
We had the pre-stream, so that's the only reason.
Yeah. I looked at the recording, but recording started like 30 minutes earlier, so that brings us to then Tales of Tamriel. Now I'm gonna start with Pixie, because Pixie, you have some tales to tell regarding Elder Scrolls Online and what you've been up to with the Elder Scrolls Online thing.
So I'm gonna try to go in like chronological order, and it's been like a couple of weeks now. So the first thing I remember doing whenever I was trying to jot down what I did over the last couple of weeks was the Soul Gem Society Dungeon Progression team finally got our Vet Fanglair hard mode speedrun and no death. And so I now finally have my Necromancer personality, which is just incredible on my Necromancer. And I love it because she looks so pleased with herself all the time. And it's just fantastic. She always has this little smile on her face. I'm like, I love you so much. And she just makes me so happy to just watch her run around and just be so conniving and also so happy at the same time. It's just great. So that was a huge thing. And we actually got that hard mode clear on a non-stream night for me. And apparently they could tell the difference in the way I was playing because they were like, holy crap, this is a whole other side of you, because I was like the last one alive a good bit of the times, just like running around for a while, building ulti to try to res some people. And so I'd have like 3 colossi and a dragon after me as I'm running around frantically in a circle, kind of like what Ark and I were doing that one time in Moonhunter Keep, but by myself. So
my favorite Moonhunter Keep run.
Apparently when not distracted, I play a little bit better. So that was something we learned. I also, for the first time ever in Elder Scrolls Online, hit max CP. So I've been playing since it launched on console, and I got to like vet rank 5 on 3 different characters, and I've gotten to CP 160 a bajillion times. I think I got a CP 350 something on Xbox, CP 4 something on PS4, and then I finally hit CP. Yeah, it hurts every time I have to restart. And I finally hit, after like a year and a half on PC, because I apparently have 9 tunes that I just get to level 45 and then abandon them and then make a new tune instead of like, getting CP on my main, because who does that? Finally hit 810. Finally. And that felt good. I actually didn't like see the thing whenever I hit it. I didn't see myself hit the level. I just like logged in the last time. I was like, oh, what CP am I at? Because I knew I was getting close. I was like, oh, I'm at 810. Oh my god. So I'm super happy about that. And then like the next thing that happened is probably it was really, really huge. And I actually was invited to join the Elder Scrolls Online official stream team. And I found out whenever I was standing in the Apple store, my boyfriend's like, oh, we can get you your birthday present early. It'll be great. And so I had my son and my boyfriend with me. We're standing in this line because of the way they have it working due to COVID. And I see this message pop up from Gina. And this is like a couple days before the Extra Life thing. And I knew we had Extra Life codes from Gina. So I thought maybe she was just trying to reach out to somebody at Tales. Maybe she had like forwarded an email to all of us to give us information about the codes or something. So I just thought it had something to do with Extra Life. And so I didn't think much of it whenever I saw an email from Gina. And I open it, I read the first like line of it, and it said, I just see Elder Scrolls Online stream team. I'm like, wait, hold on. What? So then like I read it again, and I think my boyfriend, who was like watching me, could see just something on my face going on. And I look at him, and my eyes were like starting to tear up. I was like, I just made the Elder Scrolls Online stream team, and then I just immediately started jumping up and down like a crazy person in the middle of the Apple store. And he's like, wait, for real? I was like, yes, look! And I'm like, still jumping, so I don't know if he could actually read it because my phone was going up and down with me. But he gave me like this huge hug, and then I heard him whisper something to my son. My son's like, good job making the stream team, Mommy! He has no idea what that is, but he... So it was obviously like he was saying verbatim whatever Baker told him to say, but it was incredible. And so like I kept just standing there in the Apple store, and we had to like meet with this representative and stuff, and the whole time I'm just like trying to hold it together, and she'd turn around and like talk to somebody else, and I would look at my boyfriend and just like start getting all emotional again because it was I wanted it so bad for so long. And so then like my eyes would start to tear up and I'd start to cry a little bit again, happy tears. And like the lady would turn around, Baker like bent down and whispered to me, "She's going to think you're really over emotional about this watch."
I love it so much.
Yeah, I just love it. And so we got out of the Apple store so I could properly melt down all the way home on the hour ride home. And it was just incredible. And of course, like, as soon as I found out, like, shh, don't say anything, of course I messaged you too.
It's true, she broke NDA by letting us know.
Well, to be fair, I messaged you guys so immediately that it was before I got the email saying, "Don't tell anybody until I make the announcement." Forgive me, Gina, these two are kind of special. So
we are nobodies. Don't.
Yeah,
okay.
no. We just blend into the background. No reason to pay attention to us.
So then, like, I get invited to the Discord and stuff, and all the new stream team members are filtering in. All of the veteran stream team members are just being incredibly nice and welcoming. It was so awesome and unreal. And every time somebody that, like, I recognized would welcome me, I would just start crying again. And I'm pretty sure, because, like, I had already told these two, like, I messaged them, like, 13 trillion times, like, I still can't believe I made it. Just because anytime I felt the urge to tell someone, I either had to go talk to Baker or, like, bug them about it again, because I was just going to explode. It was just gonna happen. And apparently I wasn't the only one feeling this way, because all of the new stream team members in the Discord were like, "So are we gonna make the announcement now? Are we gonna make the announcement now? Can we tell people now?" Like, because it was like 2 days until it actually came out. So we were just all collectively trying not to explode. And it's just been so awesome. And of course, like, Gina and Richard and them are in there. The other stream team members, like, it just felt surreal to, like, see my name next to all of these people that I've been watching and really looking up to as content creators and streamers for so long. And I still, like, am in shock about the whole thing. It just kind of hits me. I still get, like, a little emotional sometimes, not gonna lie. But it's just incredible, and I just still can't believe it. And it came at the perfect time, too, because it was 2 days before the ExtraLife stream, the announcement was made. So then we could kind of ride the hype from the announcement straight into ExtraLife. Yeah. So I had my first stream as an official stream team member the day before the ExtraLife stream. And so I was able to, like, do some giveaways. I was able to do a Greymore code giveaway because, like, we had elsewhere for the codes that Gina had sent us as Tales for the thing, but I was also able to give away some Greymore and stuff because of the stream team stuff. So it was even more stuff that we could do for people who contributed. And obviously we touched on this earlier, but a lot. But the ExtraLife stream was beyond incredible. We raised way more. We quadrupled what we thought, more than quadrupled what we thought we were going to make. And, like, thank you to everybody who came out. It was amazing. I do have a special thanks for the poor souls who got stuck with me in content. So Lego was with us for me tanking Vet Lair of Marsalok. I had never tanked that before, so it was Lego, Kiz, Braun. Yeah, it was Lego, Kiz, and Braun solo who went with me in that. Lego, who was my normal go-to tank, before he was tanking, he was a healer as a main. So he was like, "Okay, I will heal you. You're gonna tank this, and you're gonna be fine." And I was like, well, okay. That's all fine and dandy until we realize that we have my Wheel of Struggle brought back for a year or two, where anytime there was any donation, I would have to spin this wheel, which had various things on it that would just make everything a lot harder. So we're talking naked tanking Marsalok.
That's brutal.
Yeah, that now the way it would work was, like, we would round up. So if you donated $1, it was 1 minute, but for every $10 rounded up, you would get that number of minutes. So if you donated $1 to $10, you would get 1 minute of the struggle thing.
Okay.
$11 to $20, you'd get 2 minutes, and so on. So, like, for the smaller donations, it would just be, like, a quicker thing, and it wasn't as punishing.
Yep.
But then there were some bigger donors who showed up to the party, one of which was Solus, and who just kept dropping insane amounts of money to this charity. I'm like, well, now I'm blindfolded for 5 minutes. So there was a point in Vetlair and Marcelok where I was blindfolded, and there was a point where I had no armor. And then the wheel really liked no add-ons. So what the poll that we actually completed, Lair of Marcelok, I didn't have my nice codes combat alerts that says, "Hi, noob tank, you should probably dodge roll now." So
Nice.
I got yeeted straight off the cliff by the dragon, who Fusro died, and Pixie just went, "Oh no!" and flew completely off the cliff and died. Not that I was too much of a help anyway. I just brought the dragon back and forth because I remembered somebody saying that's probably useful whenever you charge. And it wasn't hard mode, so I was like, okay, we don't need to worry about the pads as much. So instead of doing like the triangle thing, I just literally just took him back and forth and just hoped for the best. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, but we killed him, so it worked.
Yeah.
But then my whole I'm struggling along, but it worked strategy went very different in Vet Fanglair. I had never tanked that one either, obviously, since I had just talked about getting the hard mode speedrun and no death achievements in there. I have ran it extensively, but on a healer. So Lego had to go, so we had Kiz and Solus DPSing and Braun Solo healing, and we got to the final boss. Somewhere in the middle of the dungeon, we had somebody donate, I think it was like 180. I had to do something stupid for 18 minutes. So it was like the entire dungeon. And that's something stupid. So I had one thing on my wheel that was picture time, which means playing the game correctly is secondary. I'm now in first person doing nothing but photography the whole time.
I missed why you were doing that.
The crappy tank was on purpose. That was not me just being, like, I feel like I would have been a better tank had I been allowed to be a better tank. Like, I promise I wasn't just stupid.
Because at that point I was just kind of like paying attention, but I was in a vet trial as well, so I was kind of like, what is happening with the pictures? So we get to the final boss. I'm still in picture-taking mode for the entire fight. And, of course, somebody's like, let's try hard mode one pull. I'm like, I mean, you're pretty much doing hard mode without a tank. He's like, I'm going to poke the dragon, then I'm just going to back up enough to where I can get a cool picture of the dragon, because I'm not allowed to care about us clearing it until the picture time is over, is the way the thing would work. So, it was just basically Pixie screenshot hour. And so we died. Obviously the hard mode didn't work out, but a couple pulls into, I can't remember, did we get it the first time? I don't remember how many times we actually tried it, because the night's kind of a blur now. But I got some really cool screenshots. So you know the thing where you have to like run to the yellow circle? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So again, I was not allowed to care, so I did not run to the yellow circle, so I had to be rezzed. I don't even know if they rezzed me after that, because that was pretty useless. But no, they did res me, because I was able to get pictures of him again. But he, like, climbs around the pillar and stuff. Super cool to take pictures of, and I highly recommend it next time you guys are in there. Just completely ignore that mechanic. Just bring a necro healer with you. It'll be fine. And just take pictures of the dragon as he's, like, peeking around the thing. It's so cool. So
yeah, that dragon has some cool animations.
Yeah, I got to have super fun, relaxing time in Fanglair while I hear everyone else melting down because they have no tank and are doing that Fanglair. And kudos to those guys because they killed it with no tank. And so I somehow have that clear on a tank that I just don't even deserve because I did not tank the fight. And then it was brought up, like, we had to figure out something to do after those two because those two actually went pretty quick, and my first little thing was supposed to be 6 hours, so we had to fill time. And Braun had mentioned earlier, like, wanting to get into Cyrodiil for his transmutes, and he's been having fun in Cyrodiil. It's like, let's just go into Cyrodiil. And then chat reminded me that we had hit our goal a while ago, and I was not allowed, I had to denounce AD. So it was then told to me that I needed to stay on my tank, who is an Argonian that I made before I had any race, any alliance, and so then I had to go in and fight for the Ebonheart Pact. I'm like, you know what, this might not be bad. We can just go after DC, and I can just pretend Aldmeria Dominion doesn't exist and not give these people their way. And then Braun, who was the lead, because none of us had any idea what we were doing in Cyrodiil, except Braun, said, well, we're going after AD now. And my heart just shattered into a million pieces. I mean, I'm useless in Cyrodiil, so I don't think I actually did anything to, like, harm any AD players, but ouch. It hurts. Also, who typed in the freaking notes, also AD sucks, in all caps?
You just saw that, huh?
Yeah, I just saw that.
I was trying to remember,
so
like, was it me? Because it's something I would do, you know?
No, I typed it a while back.
Okay, see, I thought it was Ark too, because I just thought Lotus was the nice one. Now I know. You just smile a lot. That's why you come off as the nice one.
Lotus founded the cult of Guar. How could it be nice? Like, it's you are faulty from start. Like, that logic is faulty from the beginning.
I think the best part about Cyrodiil, though, were the people who were, like, who got a little taste of the blindfold and its hilarity earlier on in the stream. So they were donating to try to get me blindfolded again. And when the wheel finally landed on blindfold, I'd be blindfolded for, like, an obscene amount of time. And so there were some clips of it, but basically we were running, and I was counting on people in Discord with me to guide me and tell me which direction I needed to go. And so you would hear, okay, you hit a tree, go around the tree a little bit. Oh no, now there's a rock. And oh no, you just jumped off a cliff. What are you doing? I don't know. You didn't tell me to turn. How was I supposed to know? And then we were trying to take a resource. I was still blindfolded, and they were like, okay, keep going, keep going. They're like, okay, now stop and start parsing. And so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to hit every button. I thought I was on one bar, and I was also on my tank, which I still have to look at the buttons for the tank because I don't even remember where I have everything because I don't play it that often. And so I'm, like, pressing the buttons that I thought I heard a noise, like I was out of stamina. So I'm like, I even say, I'm out of stamina. I'm going to start heavy attacking. Everybody's like, how do you know you're out of stamina? Because they were watching my stream and they could see that I clearly had an entirely full stamina bar. Because what I was spamming, when I thought I was hitting some stamina move, I was really just doing the ice shards thing, just over and over and over again. So I think I was actually out of magicka.
Amazing.
So I just start heavy attacking, and I was like, okay, I think this is helping my stamina problem, because I assumed they led me to enemies, because I couldn't tell. And apparently, they saw me as a handicap, so whenever they told me, stop and start parsing, I was in the middle of a field by myself.
Perfect.
It was beautiful to watch on stream.
I really just showed the heir who was boss the entire time, just with my sword and the heavy attacks. And whenever I took off the blindfold and saw where I was and saw there were no enemies around me and they were, like, actually behind me fighting with everybody else, it was just hysterical.
The whole thing was a mess. It was like, I'm out of stamina. So she's heavy attacking, but she's out of magicka, actually. And she's like, okay, I think I'm helping, and it's just in the middle of nowhere, just hitting there. It was just, it was beautiful.
I do remember the, okay, I think I'm helping, because I was like, okay, some of these buttons have to be doing something. I also noticed, like, watching the clip back, like, I was putting Frozen Gate in random places, not under enemies, which is probably a good thing, because how was I going to fight them? I couldn't see them. But then, like, it happened again later on, and it was, like, as I was trying to leave a keep, so I got through the first gate just fine because it was, like, literally right in front of my face, and then after that was just hot garbage, because they were trying to tell me, okay, now move left, but what they didn't know is if you had looked at the stream, my camera was backwards, like, I was looking at my own face, so they told me move left, and they're like, no, that's the exact wrong direction. Why aren't you listening to what we're telling you? I was like, I hit A, or what I believe to be A, because what I would do is, like, I'd feel for the little button on the F, and then I'd just slide my fingers over a little bit. And so I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm hitting the right button. Like, I can feel the caps lock key shape is different. I can feel F is right here, so I know I'm on WASD. Like, I'm hitting A. I'm going to the left. I'm following directions. I don't know what you want from me. And then finally it dawned on them, like, she's looking at her own face, so everything is inverted. And then it was them trying to figure out which direction to tell me. It was a hot mess the whole time. But then, like, at the very end, I started to crash, and I also, like, didn't realize it at the time, but my son had gotten me sick, and it was just kind of, like, starting. I thought it was just because I'd been talking for 6 hours, but, like, my throat felt super swollen, and it was hurting super bad, and then it dawned on me, I haven't heard from Ark in a while. What if he fell asleep? And I have to keep going, and it hurts to talk now. But luckily, of course, he came through, and I was able to pass the torch over to him whenever I needed to. And then this week started the Witches Festival, and so yesterday I was just able, my power went out right before, like, playtime, so I didn't get to play yesterday except to just, after the power came back at, like, midnight, quickly log in to get my tickets for the day and then go to bed. But Thursday was really cool. I got to do some leveling on my Warden Healer, and I got her to level 48 Thursday. Didn't get to play, like, at all Friday. Then today, that Warden Healer is level 50. That happened, like, 2 minutes before the show started. I also decided, like, my tank and I both needed False Gods for our, so Maestro, my tank,
Can I just stop you for a second? I'm going to interrupt you. I'm sorry. Your cat looks like Wandering Bard right now when you called him useless. He's just at the corner. Out. Yeah, I've noticed. I was like, that's how Wandering Bard looked when Pixie called him disposable or something like that.
I did not call him disposable. But
no,
yes,
it wasn't disposable. You called him a soul gem.
Yeah,
no,
or something
Lego
like that.
called him a soul gem. Lego called him a soul gem. I've been blamed for everything, but yeah, he just wants back. He wanted into the room so bad that his scratching was being picked up by my mic because I could see Discord lighting up. So I'm like, oh my god, I don't want this coming through on the audio. I'll just let him in. And now he wants back out because he's a cat, and that's just what he wants to do. So he can sit there.
He looks staring. He's just, like, glaring at the wall, swishing his tail every now and then, like.
Well, eventually what he'll start to do is he will actually, like, bite and claw at the door until he can pop it open. He, like, it's not shut all the way, so he can open it.
So he can borrow his way free. It's very entertaining in the background.
He just hasn't gotten desperate enough, so he's just going to give it the evil eye until he uses his kitty telepathy to make me get up and do it for him, but it's just not happening right now. But
yeah, sorry for interrupting. It was just
you're fine.
Like, something just.
Cats are always a fun interruption. I mean, he's already interrupted the show twice with wanting to come in and also, like, attacking me at random. So it's just been. This is why he usually isn't in here whenever I'm doing a thing, because he does this stuff. But if you noticed, before he just randomly attacked me, he was very happy just letting me love on him for a very long time. So he just, like, flips like that. I'm still figuring out cats. But so a couple of us needed false gods. So I was like, okay, I also want the gold skull, and I'm sure lots of other people want the gold skull for the event, for the trial boss. So let's just get normal Sunspire going, and I have a sorcerer that I would like to get better on, so I was like, I'll just practice on my sorcerer. I don't need to heal this one. Like, we have enough healers in Discord and we have tanks and all of that, because I have healed Sunspire and tanked Sunspire, I've just never DPS'd it. So It was also like, I've done Vet Sunspire like 5 times. I can lead this. I know the mechanics of this trial. Like, it's been a while, sure, but I know what I'm doing. I can lead a trial. And then I promptly forgot all of the mechanics, except for how it pertained to healers. Like, I knew what I would have been doing on my main and where I would have been standing and what I would have cared about. But I learned very quickly that apparently at certain points, whenever Solus or previously Mission would give Sunspire mechanics, I would just tune them out until I heard the word healer, and then I would start listening. And I also had Solus in the trial with me, so he heard me trying to explain everything very poorly. And he actually said, you know what? I'm not going to correct her. Just do exactly what Pixie said. And people started dying. So it was just... Eventually I admitted I was wrong, and I actually didn't know how to lead this trial. I forget which mechanics I actually forgot. Like, I realized really quickly I had no idea what to do in portals because they sent me down in portals and I died. I was also by myself in portals, so I was pinned, and it's like stacked to unpin. I'm like, how the hell are we supposed to stack this? I'm the only one down here. What am I doing? And yeah, I died. I should have just killed it faster. That probably was the solution, but I'm also very new to DPSing, so that just wasn't going to happen. But yeah, it was ultimately really fun. We were all laughing a lot. We got 2 people into Sunspire for their first time. Sorry to you two for the abysmal explanations. Hopefully you did learn something out of it. Because after we would do the thing, they would pretty much, except for like on ad pulls, like where to stand, we didn't like go back over that, but Solus would like say, okay, now this is what this mechanic is actually like, and fill in whatever I missed. I think the one that everybody got the biggest kick out of was me explaining on Naventas, whenever I said, okay, at a certain point, he's going to do a time stop mechanic where he just stops time for a second on a person. They were like, that's descriptive. Time stop stops time. How do we ever guess that? I was like, I mean, what other way is there to describe it? Like, he's going to pick a person, time's going to stop, you're not going to be able to move, it's annoying, try to roll dodge. Like, I don't know. And I've just come to realize that my explanations of mechanics like need to be worked on. And it's because it's like a thing in dungeons too, where I'll know exactly how to do the thing, but my way of explaining it in my own head, and also it's like the Healy balls and all of that. Like, I put it in my own words aggressively. But I do feel like, at least in dungeons where I'm like super comfortable with something, people get it. But with Sunspire, because I only actually knew healer mechanics and tank mechanics, whenever I was trying to tell the DPS what to do, I was just like, I just need to stop talking because I honestly don't know where to stand right now. So I knew with the dragons, it was the ad pulls that I was just like, I have no idea. And then I just missed a couple like little things that don't matter too much on normal with the dragons, just because it's been so long since I was in there. Yep. But ultimately it was really fun, and I've just been leveling tunes and enjoying the festival. And I think tomorrow and for the rest of the event, I'm actually going to be leveling my Nord, because I haven't touched her pretty much since I made her. I think she's still like level 12. So I'm going to be playing more on my Nord and trying to figure out how on earth to stam DPS. Since now that my Warden healer's to 50, I want to go level my other tunes. The cat's trying to open the door now. See, he got it.
Yeah, I was watching that. There he goes.
I told you he'd get it eventually. He made it out.
Freedom.
But yeah, that was... I think that's everything that happened to me in the little hiatus there.
There you go.
Apparently he shut the door behind him.
It's like, screw this, I'm gonna...
Really angry.
But yeah, I mean, stream team.
Yes.
I still can't believe
All
it.
official.
I keep seeing like little stream team like graphics, and like it gets really hard not to get emotional like mid the stream. So like look over like at chat and see the preview, and I see the little stream team thing. I mean, that did happen. Like on Thursday, I was like thanking everybody because it was like my first official stream as a stream team member. Rich popped up in chat and said no tears allowed. I was like, they're having tears, I promise.
That's a challenge.
I'm having a moment. Yeah. Now I feel like Ark's just gonna make me cry on purpose because of the AD stuff with his tails later, and probably Lotus too, since he's apparently the monster who snuck in. Also, AD sucks. Oh,
look, I'm just saying. I mean, you could have read it out; it would have been fine.
That was one thing that I missed during the Extra Life spiel. Is once we hit that goal, like everybody just kept goading me on. So, Pixie, what do you think of the Aldmeri Dominion? And on those clips that they took, you can literally see my heart breaking as I'm saying them.
Yeah, but what do you think about Aldmeri Dominion?
Yeah.
Like...
So, I truly do think, and this is, like, even outside of the challenge, I do dislike the color yellow compared to the other colors. I do wish that Ebonheart Pact had chosen yellow and Aldmeri Dominion had gotten red, because red does happen to be my favorite color. So that's kind of a disappointment. So they're a disappointment in their own color choices.
Look,
we are just trying to find ways
I'm not
to make
done.
this
I'm
work.
not done. I'm gonna go deeper, but I needed to start with the things that I had already covered, just for people who hadn't heard them. So don't worry, Ark, you're gonna be happy in a minute, I'm sure. But something else that I feel like makes it so that I can no longer support for the next month the Aldmeri Dominion is the fact that Queen Irene is incapable of getting her own race to like her, let alone the races she's supposed to be getting to work with her, let alone all of Tamriel, had she actually accomplished her goal of becoming Empress. My god, this is painful.
Somebody be clipping all of this for later.
True words. True words.
Yep.
Look, all
I'm
this
writing
challenge...
a speech for when the month is over, by the way. Like, full disclosure. I'm going to
man,
refute my own points later. But
that was actually, like... That looked legit painful.
This is how it's been for me.
So, wait. You're writing a speech for AD when the month is over, so you are no longer denouncing it, like... Okay,
After the month, I'm not denouncing it, but for right now... Yeah, she needs to get her shit together.
Alright, I mean, I guess Tales of Tamriel doesn't have to see episode 255.
Yeah,
I mean,
254.
6 years of podcasting, I'd say that's enough. We don't need to hear that speech. I mean...
Also, as mentioned in chat, like, another thing, like, of course, since he's part of the AD, I can't just leave Roz out of this. You know, he tries to present himself as a badass, and an Eye of the Queen assassin, her best warrior, and spy, but he could easily be taken down by a spray bottle because he's a cat. So maybe not the best choice, which calls into question... Maybe the queen just needed... She also, like, went on a vacation and, like, let her brother do all the hard work for her. Like, he went through the entire whole, like, however many years of bullshit that the high elves make you go through to be queen, which is... Well, he was king, not queen, but... And then she just comes back and is like, you know what, never mind. I'd actually kind of like to be queen now without, like, having to actually do all of that stuff. Which is probably why the Veiled Inheritance is pretty pissed at her. So, maybe not your best move, Queen Irene. You should have thought that one through a little bit better. Where'd you go, lady?
Can I just say, this was a lot more than I was ever expecting, and I think that's because you knew all of this deep down. You just had to that push in the right direction to let it all out. Let yourself be true to yourself, and I think that's what we are seeing, and I think it's beautiful. Just lean into it.
I want to point out. No, so the thing is, every time this has been the thing is, like, I have people calling me traitor in chat, but every time I have just tried to cop out and just be like, oh, they picked a bad color. Like, I get, like, what Ark was trying to get at, like, before he let me finish.
A little more.
like, I did promise, like, on Tales of Tamriel, there will be a full denouncing. Like, you just get the diet version on the streams.
I really enjoy the mixed messaging in chat where people are either cracking up or there's just a little heartbreak emotion everywhere. And
Okay,
weeping.
like, I shout out to the people on Tales that I saw in the reviews for Tales of Tamriel who were like, finally, we get an AD representative on the show. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, I just have to say sorry to everybody who, like, messaged me, oh, I'm so happy we have an AD representative on Tales. I'm sorry. I'll make it better in a month. I swear. I'll make it better in a month.
You guys
Mark is the
thought
new you.
there would be a proper AD representation on this show. No. Yes. Even if it's for a month, we got full EP back together. Well, even if
All right,
she's
It's
not
your
EP.
birthday,
calm down.
And Lotus, when are your birthdays? When are your birthdays?
Oh, God. Now I don't want to say
God.
it.
Oh,
Well, mine already
I was
passed.
going to say happy birthday. This is your early or late birthday
Yeah,
present
that's my
from
late
me.
birthday
Yeah.
gift, I was going to say.
I just realized
Guar
this
is
is
a
like
no
personally
AD.
identifiable information. I probably shouldn't just be asking you to spew that all over the place.
Here's my social.
So, I just... It hurts.
Oh, man.
I will make it better. I promise. All you AD fans out there, I will make it better. This is painful. I know I've made compelling arguments. I can refute everything I just said, I swear to you.
I know I make compelling arguments. Oh, this is... Oh, man. What a great
I hope you
return
two are
episode.
happy.
Oh, yeah.
Also, this
Yeah.
was Ark's idea. This was Ark's idea.
No, look, I just said, make something that you would absolutely hate. That will be a good incentive for people to donate. And it worked. It worked.
Yeah. It's
I mean, I'm an
amazing how
Altmer.
frequently that works.
Yeah, I'm like last year it was the Guars. It made people happy. They donated. This year it was the Altmer. It made people happy. They donated. It works. Although now I want to come back to Lotus now. Because I mean we picked on Pixie enough. Now, everyone
Thank
might
you.
think Lotus came out of this extra life thing with just physical labor, you know, just like he has to run a 5K on a treadmill while tanking a dungeon, things like that. But I feel like between Pixie and I, we can't let Lotus survive this, go by this episode without reliving one of his emotional scars that I've noticed during his 20-hour marathon. Lotus, would you basically take us through the adventure to the journey of what the hell you were doing in Frostwaltz and that Atronak boss?
Okay. So, as people know, I am a bit of an achievement whore and try to do as many things to get my achievements up as possible in game and accomplish anything that's even, well, I would say even remotely fun. Until everybody got to see what I do sometimes during the Extra Life stream, where most people were like, you know, this is how you do that boss if they were new to my stream, or people who had known I already had the speedrun no death and hard mode in this dungeon were like, what the hell is wrong with you? Because several people I needed to let them know, I was like, no, I actually know how this dungeon works. We're trying to do something very specific. The specific thing we were trying to do was called Cold Potato. Now, Cold Potato is a 10-point achievement in Vet Frostvault that we have failed a lot. Like a real lot. During the Frost Mage thing, so it's the fight with the Frost Mage, and he has the Ice Atronach. Normally the tank will grab the Ice Atronach. You will go into his little frozen prison thingy. You have to dodge the pie slices. And everybody else interrupts and just beats the hell out of the mage, and it's over. That's the end of it. Like, it's actually probably the easiest, maybe the second easiest boss in there once you understand the pie slice thing on tank. It's a very straightforward fight. Well, Cold Potato is when you're doing the fight on Vet and you essentially really slow roll the fight, because the ice atronach will periodically punch the ground, and this ice line will go off in a direction. We thought we knew how to control it. Surprise, I don't. It just seems to go in a random direction. I have no idea. And this frost orb will come out of the ground, and it will target somebody and roll toward them. Now, the achievement is all 4 people in the party need to interact with that orb to be put in a frost prison briefly. And it's just a crappy little debuff. It's not even that big of a deal. I don't know if we've killed it so fast I've never noticed it or what, but the problem then became it will target one of you and roll at the person. It never changed who it would fucking roll to. It was driving us insane because you needed to roll to the person in order to have it trigger. And it just kept picking the same person over and over and over and over again. And it was infuriating. So our approach became, okay, if it keeps picking you, you commit seppuku on the boss so that you're not a viable target and it will have to pick somebody else. And we did that to the point where I didn't get it so many times in a row, the entire dungeon team needed to suicide before it would ever randomly pick me because there was only one choice. So then I needed to do that and then grab everybody and pick them back up so that we could actually do the fight. That was obnoxious enough, but the problem came from several things we discovered along the way. The first time we did it, which was before the stream, because that wasn't the first time we tried that, we did that, and we killed the boss, and we didn't get the achievement, and we were all very angry. And then I went in and read the description, and the thing about the abstract achievements in ESO is they are worded very strangely sometimes. And I noticed that it specifically mentioned both of those bosses' names. If you go into your Challenger achievement, you can technically 100% everything, doing the speedrun, the no death, the hard mode, and not technically kill that ice dude because he just breaks when you kill the main one. So you can't kill the wizard because it deletes him from the game. You have to kill him specifically after doing all of what we just said. So we had to do it again, which was what we did during Extra Life. So we did it again. RNG still sucked, so we had to start killing ourselves one by one to change the RNG. Delta looked up and noticed that at one of the things that was suggested on the forums, because there's other sadistic wackos who try to do these things, were saying, well, it seems like he picks a target based on damage done to him. That is a lie, because we had several scenarios where I was literally the only one to attack him, and it's like, nah, we're going to stick with Hazard, and Hazard, and Hazard, and Hazard again, and Hazard. I'm like, okay, it's just never going to change on me. Hazard's on the other side of the map. He's not even doing anything. He's literally, like, juggling. Like, I don't know what you want from us. So that didn't work. So our only answer was to constantly kill ourselves to move around who was getting it. And then once we all had it, and we rushed over, and we kill the Ice Atronach, and then we go over and kill the main boss. And we didn't get the achievement on stream. And we were again very mad. And that's when we found the forum post where it says, oh, if you die, it resets it so that you don't count as actually having been in the ice prison. So,
oh no!
So the only way that we can get it to pick different targets is to kill ourselves. But once we kill ourselves, we need to reset it. But then it's just stuck on the new person that we can't get it. I have absolutely no idea how to do this. I have no fucking clue. It's driving me insane. Like, I can't. It's awful. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. But that's what we were doing. And as for Kiz's question, how long were we invested? I think we were doing it for 45 minutes on stream, probably another 45 minutes before. So I've probably been trying to do that one boss fight for that cold potato achievement for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, give or take. And nope, hard nope.
Watching that was one of my favorite Lotus freak out moments. Arena streams included, because when you guys realize that it doesn't count when you die. So you spend all that like 30 minutes just fighting the boss, suiciding, getting back up, suiciding, and then still not getting achievement. I was like, this sparks joy. It's
oh my god, it was so frustrating. So we still don't have that. In terms of odd achievements that I've tried since the last event that have not worked, there's one called Failed Transfusion in Moongrave Fane, Vet Moongrave Fane, where you need to. So the one with Grundwolf and the Mage. It's like the two of them right before the final fight, not the final boss fight, but the two of them, and they normalize their health. There's an achievement in there called Failed Transfusion, in which you never let them normalize their health.
Ooh.
So the normalization apparently takes place if their health is ever diverged by more than 5%. So they need to stay within 5%. That is unbelievably difficult to do.
Yeah.
So our solution, because we don't problem solve logically, we problem solve like, how can I break this faster, was it almost worked. We got it to 1.4% or 4.1%. I forget which. It's one of those. I grabbed Grundwolf and pulled him into the corner on the far side of the map. And the other three people bum rushed the boss, the wizard, and nuked her so hard that we figured if we just deleted her from existence, she couldn't normalize. Like I said, I can't remember whether it was 1.4 or 4.1. She literally crapped out as she normalized their health. Like, she flopped over dead as it normalized their health. And we were like, I don't think it worked. And we killed Grundwolf with his half health. It didn't work. We were like, we were so close. So that one didn't work. But that was legitimately that is incredibly difficult. The other one, which I'm throwing the BS flag, what is the DPS requirement for that strat? I think the lowest DPS we had with us was like 60, was 60k. So it was a 60k, I don't know, like around a 70k and like another 75 or so. So we nuked it as hard as humanly possible with what we had online. So the other one we did was in everybody's favorite Moonhunter Keep. There's one called Never Ending Rage or Unending Rage, either Never Ending Rage or Unending Rage, in which the classic pug killer, the White Wolf, you never let her unenrage.
Oh no.
That's no. No.
The real trick to that, other than just taking that abuse, is you can't ever let her go into any of the warden pools, because that will calm her down.
Yeah.
So you have to zigzag her around the warden pools while taking the abuse and killing the warden, so she doesn't get so enraged that, because the mechanics are stacking, that she becomes literally invincible, which will happen if she gets 6 multiplications of enrage. And that one, we can cut quickly to the end of this story. We did it and it didn't work. And we were very angry. And we looked it up, and on the forums it says, yes, sometimes it doesn't work. Do it again. And I'm like, that's not good. I don't like that. I don't like that being the answer. So, yeah, we haven't done that again because we were so angry that it didn't work the first time we did it. So either we somehow did something wrong, or, like the forum suggests, do it again because sometimes it doesn't register, which I don't like. I don't care for that. Yeah, so those were my achievement hunting bits. On the positive achievement hunting bits, if you ever want a unique way of doing Unhallowed Grave, which are Unhallowed Grave. There's one called Relentless Dogcatcher, where the werewolf guy with those 2 flesh Goliaths beat him without killing either of those Goliaths. There's another one for the Mender fight, where you've got that island where you have to pull yourself off of and on. Oh, that was weird.
Yeah, I tried to send a message on the phone. Instead, I joined the call on the phone. So, yeah.
Great.
I'll do something about it or just leave it in the show. I do not know. Basically, I broke our Discord call and now my camera is not on. There we go. It's back on. Everything is back now. Nothing happened.
But yeah, no, nothing at all. What was I going to say? Something I actually didn't fail at. Yeah, so there was that, and then the one with the wizard or the ghost who heal. The Unhallowed Grave thing that always screws with people when they first do the place, where it was like, well, what do we do? And I accidentally went behind a pillar, and it saved me, and I didn't really know how I beat the mechanic to start with. There's one for killing all 4 of the ghosts within 5 seconds of each other throughout the entire fight.
What? How?
Yeah. You have to bring them all down to a sliver of health, and then all 4 of you nuke them in unison. Which is a little tricky with the DPS or with DPS that do a lot more damage than a tank, because I don't do squat. So we had to leave mine at like 3,000 hit points so I could kill it. And then there's another one for never letting the skeletons in the final fight empower. So you have to make sure to kill them all off. And then on the flip side, making sure every skeleton empowers all the time. We did all of those. And the approach that I can suggest for anybody who cares to do those, do it with 2 tanks. It's real easy. You wouldn't think that would work, but we did 2 tanks and 2 DPS and no healer. Sorry, Pixie. But
thanks.
Yeah, sorry. So what we did was you have one person tanking the actual boss and one person tanking all the other crap, whether it's the skeletons, whether it's the things you're trying not to kill. It made that all of those very, very easy. So we actually succeeded at that. I've been in a VCR prog, as most people know. We've managed to get +1 pretty down pat, so we're moving on to +2 soon, which I'm pretty excited about. And I cleared out, I said I was planning to so that we could discuss spoilers and I'd be ready for Markarth. Totally went through and beat the entire Greymoor main quest. I really liked it. You were correct. There was much more to it that I enjoyed other than what was spoiled for me. So I did like that quite a bit. And just because we do give a nod to the community whenever it works, and I know people have problem with things being like, I don't know. Sometimes the multiplayer aspect can leave a bad taste in people's mouth. But I'm going to do this without being spoilery because we haven't done our spoiler episode. But if you've done the final quest, when you're walking through this stone husk garden, going up a tower that should be ambiguous enough, it's toward the end of the campaign. I ended up with, I think it was 5 or 6 randoms, just also doing the quest of various levels. And for whatever reason, without talking to each other, everybody coordinated like, yeah, we're going to do this as a team. So I was tanking, they went into healer stance, DPS stance, and we literally ran it like a 5-person dungeon. We waited for each other to go through zones. Like, we wouldn't go up the tower too fast until we were all grouped back up. And we did this all without any type of coordination. But me and the randoms basically tackled the entire end of the Greymoor story together. I don't know who these people are. It's all I've ever interacted with them. But it made the battle up the tower very fun. It was actually kind of a neat experience to have a group of people work with me on that, which is pretty rare that it's just oh, this is actually just kind of neat that randoms happen to be in the area with me at the same time. So that was a really fun ending to that. I'm very ready for Markarth. This is not exciting, but it's just something worth noting because I don't like playing. I play one character. I don't play DPS really. However, I don't remember why we were doing this, but for some reason I volunteered to DPS, and I DPSed for the team Vet Fanglair and Vet Moongrave Fane, and we got clears on both of them. I actually think we only wiped in one, and I found out that my DPS is just mediocre enough to clear through all that stuff, but not to do it flawlessly, because in Fanglair, the situation where the ghost will chain you and pull you across, and you have to kill the specter so that they don't get uppercutted. Mm-hmm. So it grabbed Delta, who was our other DPS at the time, and we were doing traditional tank, healer, 2 DPS. I was like, oh no, all right, well, let's see how I can parse. And I killed that ghost. And I was like, yeah, but unfortunately I killed it right as Delta got uppercutted in one shot. I was like, damn, I can just barely make the cut, but not enough to save you. So he died anyways, but it was a moral victory for me over his dead body. It was fine. He'll be missed or something, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. He's fine. I beat... Actually, I don't think I had beaten... I haven't had my dungeon team. Unfortunately, we still haven't managed to coordinate all that well for it. I have managed to take down Castle Thorn hard mode. That execute phase is way more stressful than it seems like it should be. But that is a... It's not a complicated hard mode, but it's just complicated enough to screw with you. And I beat the first 2 hard modes in what's the other one?
Stone Garden.
Stone Garden. Yep, beat those without really too much of an issue. And we got to werewolf phase. We got that part down, and I've now found out how to do werewolf, like what the point of werewolf phase is. So once we get a team again, we want to go back in and try that. But the reason I bring that up is the second hard mode in there, where you fight the giant stone thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's my favorite hard mode in the game. I love that fight for some reason. Like that on hard mode is super fun. Yeah, I love that fight. That
what
was,
are you doing there?
Fun.
All I do in there is just go to the husks on the wall, so the boss is with them, so they can be AoE down together. Stand still, take a beating. That's all I do in there. Just stand still and take a beating.
So you can do that. The way I was having fun with it was I would strafe up and down so that the cleave damage targets whatever stone husk is up fastest. And it would be down before the next one would be active.
Wait,
and then
what cleave the cleave damage from the boss?
No, the cleave damage from our team to the stone husk. So you're hitting both at once. Yeah. And then again, because if we haven't gotten the overall arching theme of achievement whore, there's an achievement for having 30 of the mad scientist lightning bottles hit the stone husk. I have no idea if it does damage or something, but you will get a target marker on your feet from time to time. Mm-hmm. If you dodge roll through the husk, it hits him with the lightning thing, and I don't know if it stuns him or what, but I figure there's a reason to it, and I got the timing down pretty good on it. So I don't know, I just liked the chaos of that fight quite a bit. And then, the only other thing that I have done of note is I am now on PC. So if you want to ever join up with me, I am now LotusOfDoom on PC as well. I am an Arkhaniir this time as a tank because I wanted to try that out. And it runs real nice. Runs real nice.
Stay with us.
Yeah, going back to my VCR prog, I was like, oh, my frame rate's very bad. My frame rate's very bad, and my load screens are very long. This is unpleasant.
Yeah, I think...
Yeah.
When I switched from PS4 to PC, I played on PC for a month before going back to PS4 for a night to run some stuff with my PS4 friends. Mm-hmm. And the first load screen, like I knew the like login load screen was long. I was kind of expecting that one, but whenever I like ported somewhere, I just immediately wanted to throw my controller through the TV after waiting like 5 seconds. And I was just like, this is too long. I can't do it. I can't do it. I complained the whole time.
It's jarring how much of a difference is, especially if I get, like, it's one thing because I played on PC at events and stuff like that, and I already knew that it's like, oh yeah, it runs smoother. When I go from like, yeah, sure, I'm on PC, oh, I've got my trial, I'll be back, and I turn off the PC one and go directly to the console, oh boy, is that really, really apparent. It's just like, oh my god. So
now, I don't want to say I'm capable of doing a year-long elaborate cunning plan, but Lotus is now on PC, and every time he will go back to the console, he will suffer, and eventually that will, eat his brain from the inside. And Pixie will have to mention the bad sides of Aldmeri Dominion for a month, and that will take a place in her mind as well.
This is a real long play arc. I don't like this.
Tales of Stockholm Syndrome.
I don't wanna say that I've been learning from the Guar's evil cunning ways, but maybe in researching their evilry, I may have picked up some stuff. I don't know. This is how you get people. This is how you turn people. So
I don't. Yeah,
it's saying.
I don't know how I like all of this, but
it comes with a double-edged sword because I'm also playing as an Altmer now. So
yeah, I was gonna say. So why don't you tell us about your Altmer adventures? Because that pretty much covers me since the last show.
Yeah.
How do you like being an Altmer?
I mean, we are almost at 3-hour mark. So
Oh no, you don't get out of this one.
Okay.
Are we? It's weird. It's weird. Mine seems to have rolled back. I think we actually just started. There's plenty of Altmer time. Go on.
Okay. So
hold on. Let me stop him before he starts. Did you hear that scathing review of the Aldmeri Dominion I gave because I was taking it seriously? I would like you to take this seriously too, Ark.
So last year, my Extra Life milestone was that I would use Guars until Greymore chapter hit, which was like 6-7 months of using a Guar mount and a Guar pet, which was hellish enough. So I thought, how can I up this, right? So I thought, okay, let's set up milestones for that. I would create an Altmer character, level up that Altmer character to 50, and finish the Aldmeri Dominion main storyline, the entirety of it. It was a good idea, I guess, because, we eventually broke $4,100 raised for Extra Life. But before I get there, what did I do during Extra Life until I ended up in that point? I thought I did a lot of PvP. Let me just go around the topic a bit. I did a lot of PvP basically during my total of 22 hours total between, the 6-hour part and the 16-hour part. And then I thought, okay, you know what? People will enjoy me doing Wet Pug DLC dungeons, right? Because that's always been a fan favorite. So I went into Lair of Marselok because it was the pledge. Everything went super well. It went super well, strangely, with a pug group. So I was like, okay, well, that didn't give people what they want, right? So how can we do this worse? I went into Castle Torn. Everything went well. Not the hard modes, by the way. We tried the hard modes at every corner, and it was like, after a couple tries, it was like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Because Lair of Marselok, without communications, you are not gonna do that last hard mode. Well, maybe you can, but it's with a pug group who are running for the first time, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's very unlikely.
Castle Torn, I thought it could happen. Even with a pug group, but two of the group just wanted to, stop. They said let's just complete it normally.
Just a quick side thing, because
Yeah.
I know you haven't had your group either. Pixie, I don't know if you've tried it yet. Have either of you beaten Castlethorn?
Which one?
Naming-
The one with the
Yeah.
vampire or the one with the
The
mad
vampire
scientist?
one, Fangs,
No,
yeah.
I mean I didn't complete either, so it was
Okay,
Castlethorn we're currently working on. Like, we
Okay.
got her down to like 8% or something ridiculous last time.
okay. Whenever you do this, working on it, whatever, I need to know your experience. So, like, again, I haven't had my original group, but I've actually run with very good groups type of thing. And that last 10%, it's just, that whole fight isn't really that bad. And then that last 10%, everything just hits the fan. Like, just everything. It's a mess. And I'm like, I don't understand. What is it about this hard mode at the very, very execute thing where it just, it's a disaster. It's a total disaster. So
Like, okay, so to kind of answer your question, it feels like it's doing the same thing again. Like, it's not like it just gets harder, like, mechanics-wise. I just feel like we're all so tired because it's such a long fight.
yes,
And
it's
then
like
we
an
get so
endurance
excited.
test.
Yeah.
It very much reminds me of Moongrave Fane, where it's like 15.6 million. No, like, so I agree. It's just, I was just curious because we failed that a surprising amount of times where I was like, this whole thing isn't that difficult, but it also it's deceptively difficult is what I think it is.
That's
So,
what I
sorry, I
keep
was
like
just
repeating about it is like it's not a DPS race. You know, you don't have to be super hard hitting. It's just gonna take a while, and you just have to be perfect the whole time, and it's gonna take like freaking 10 minutes or something stupid. Or at least that's
it's
what
so
it feels
long that
like.
you eventually make a mistake and wipe.
Exactly.
Yes, that's the that's the Blake perfect way of putting it.
Right. So I thought the thing was going to continue.
No, I was just very curious, just because that place roughed me up for a while. So,
So we did Castlethorn as well without wiping on non-hard mode with a pug group. It was a different pug group. So I thought, okay, let's go into Stone Garden. And Stone Garden was fun because we had someone who had never done it. So I got to teach mechanics actually. Like this one does that, you know, and it went very well as well with a pug group with someone who had never done it. Obviously, we didn't get through any of the hard modes. But so it ended up being like, okay, well, I guess I'm not gonna suffer this day, right? And then the donations came in, and my suffering didn't come from running wet DLC pug dungeons, but from the character creator of Elder Scrolls Online. As promised, I went in there to create my first ever high elf character, which is, I've been playing Elder Scrolls games since Oblivion, so 2006. So 14 years of Elder Scrolls. 14 years, I've never created a high elf character, right? Yet last weekend, Arkhaniir Pokestick was born. It's a Templar, it's a high elf, and chat said I couldn't make it a joke one either, so I actually had to make a serious, a proper character, which was very difficult because it's a high elf, it doesn't look right, like it looks wrong, however you do it.
He looks gorgeous. What are you talking about? He looks very nice. He's very handsome.
His face looks like he fell into a pit of mud, and it just looks like single colored, ununderstandable. I also did put a same colored war paint on his face, which doesn't help, but
he has a very nice complexion.
And to be fair, the amount of butt slider really put it up on that ass for that dude.
Yeah, so the chat demanded that I put it all the way to the right butt slider, so people wanted the butt, and people got
maximum
the butt.
butt.
Yeah, which a full Altmer butt is nothing compared to a full Nord butt, just saying. Altmer sucks. So, anyway, I create the character, and then we discussed for 15 minutes, we discussed the name There was the Elfenir no shield, Elfenir elven shield. There was some actually like lore-friendly elven names. But eventually, I wonder if it was either Blood Eye or Gone Crazy Back Soon, I think, came up with the name Pokestick.
It is so great.
And I really loved that name. I even used it in our New World Twitter account and everything like that when they announced we were getting spears. I was like, yes, Pokesticks. So it was, Templar, biting jabs, so it was the Elfenir Pokestick.
Yep.
Anyway, I create the character, I went through the tutorial, and I was like, okay, well, that's it. I'm going back to PvP. Because the other two milestones hadn't happened yet. Oh, no, wait, I think level 50 was there, but like going through the Almir's Dominion storyline, that was still on the table. So I went back to doing my PvP, doing my dungeons, things like that, and I think just like an hour before we finished, or even might not even be an hour, SD dropped the one final donation with the title saying, "You thought you were safe."
Which was amazing.
Apparently, he just
SD,
waited until the
you.
last moment, made me think that I wouldn't have to go do the Aldmir Dominion storyline, and then just slapped me in the face. So I was like, okay, well, I mean, we only have a little bit of time left, so let's actually jump into the storyline. And I realized, this wasn't initially my plan, but I realized I hate everything so much that however long it is gonna take me to go through the Aldmir Dominion storyline, 100% of it will be me sulking, cursing, being angry, and things like that. And I haven't even met Queen Iran yet. I don't know how that's gonna go. I only met a Bosmer, a useless as hell Bosmer assistant who couldn't achieve a simple task of getting rid of some wards. We had to save the stupid Altmer that got hijacked by a spooky skeleton. What are you even doing? Why can't I let the spooky skeleton take over all Somerset or Auridon or wherever we are? Like, the skeleton is like, I'm gonna, just destroy everything, make 5,000 people dead and hijack their bodies and just use it as my own. They will be my ward. I'm like, yeah, good, let's do this. Why are we trying to prevent this? And the only option the game gives me is to go help the absolutely useless Bosmer assistants and the very stupid other Altmer guy who got hijacked by a spooky, several thousand years already dead skeleton. Like, if you're getting hijacked by a skeleton that was dead for several thousand years already, what are you even doing? Just allow it. Just allow it. Just die. Or if your assistant can't even fix some wards and need protection from other dead skeletons, don't do it. Just let it happen, Canary roots, let it sink. Who cares? Yeah, that's gonna be a rough time going through this storyline.
I was about to say, this is gonna be a long ride for you, Ark.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's quest design. There's one that you haven't done, and I had it on my Tales way back when I actually found out what the AD storyline was. But it's weird because when you're going through these, some of them are main quests, I believe. There are some weird level or quest designs that are only used once in the AD, which is super weird. Like, I don't understand. It's like somebody came up with a great idea, and then it was just
if it
never implemented
lets me
again.
kill other Altmer, I guess.
I
did try to get my character killed before all of this started, so then I would be like,
was
okay,
amazing.
well, everything would be fine then, because if my character was dead, I couldn't do the storyline, right? So I went into Harridan's house. I found a brazier, like burning flames and everything. I stood on top of it. Nothing happened. I found a bed of fire. I laid down onto it. Nothing happened. I found one of those stone, grinding things. I laid in front of it. Turns out it's not animated. You can't get your character crushed under a several ton grinder. That doesn't work. What I found was there was traps in the floor, right, with the spikes and everything. So sleeping on those do actually help. The problem is freaking Akatosh, what's his name? Very Necalarius, the prophet, did with the whole praying thing and getting your soul back and everything like that. Now I can't die. I die. Akatosh summons my soul back into my body. Why would you do that? Let me go. Let my Altmer soul burn in eternal fire. But no. Apparently, I have some divine duty to save Tamriel and Aldmeri Dominion in the process, which I really don't want to do. But because it's a divine that is involved with some old blind emperor who's praying for my soul, now I have to save Aldmeri Dominion and probably Queen Iran. I don't like this turn of events.
I love it, though.
This was a series of very unfortunate, very annoying events that really pisses me off, but we have to do it. It is what it is.
Yep.
See, you're just angry, but my soul is crushed, and I don't know which one is worse.
Just two sides of the same coin.
We're all very sad, and Lotus is like, yay, good frame rates.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get at least some good frame rates out of the situation.
I will see you when your achievement addiction kicks in on PC and you will have to farm all 40,000 achievement points all over again on PC without your team that is on the consoles. Then I will watch you cry, Lotus. Then I will watch your soul be crushed.
Don't like that.
I think Lotus should also join AD.
Don't like that at all.
Just saying.
I don't know. Forever. I mean, if Lotus joined AD, then we can try to destroy it from inside together. I guess that would be one way. I don't know. Or we could kill each other. Just duel constantly.
Just until immediately run at each other and shank each other. It's like, well, and so ends our tale.
Yeah, I mean, there's gotta be a limit to the power of Akatosh or whoever keeps summoning our soul back. That eventually it should stop happening, right? I mean, I don't know. Arc stream from here on is just going to be grumble, 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 says Slaps only. It's pretty much, yeah. This will be my tales moving forward, folks. Just me unwillingly saving stuff in Aldmeri Dominion. There was this stupid Khajiit, right? He was all scared, and I was like, okay, well, he's scared of this ghost. And then I just jump from places, and I actually find this ghost. Like, I think it was the ghost of a Breton, but since it was in Kenner Roost, you deserve to die if you came to Kenner's Roost, which is an Aldmeri Dominion place, right? I mean, you deserve to be a ghost as well. And this ghost is like, keep your distance. Stay your distance. I'm like, okay, whatever. I run the opposite distance. She summons right next to me, and she's like, keep your distance. I'm like, I was running the opposite direction, you stupid ghost. Even the Bretons in Aldmeri Dominion zones are dumb. Like, it's the aura of the entire land. I'm running the opposite direction. She summons right next to me, this ghost, and she's like, keep your distance. I'm like, what do you want me to do? How am I supposed to keep my distance if you keep spawning right next to me? This whole thing is...
She could be cursed to, like, be stuck by the side of anybody who's anywhere remotely near her. And well, she wants you to get away.
Of course she's cursed. She's a Breton, a half-elf, in Aldmeri Dominion, and she's stuck forever as a ghost in Aldmeri Dominion lands. That is a curse, yes, that is true.
That's not entirely what I meant, but also because of my curse, I cannot refute anything you just freaking said.
It's probably the Aldmeri Dominion that she keeps yelling, keep your distance. Because that's like, she's dead. I mean, she's a ghost. She probably can only just comprehend that. So she only sees, like, keep your distance to Aldmeri Dominion. But, you know, she's on the lands anyway, so she can't get away. for whatever reason. I don't know. I didn't read the quest. I just ran in the opposite direction until she disappeared. Yeah. Well, anything anyone want to add?
No, we're back with our usual 3-hour show, it seems like.
Sure.
Woohoo!
We had a lot to
Well, yeah, that
rant
was
about.
several weeks. Yeah, there was a lot to unpack there.
Yeah. All right, well, Lotus, where can people find you? Any final thoughts and stuff like that?
No, just thank you everybody who helped out during Extra Life again. It meant an awful lot to us, whether you could donate financially or just helped keep us awake or entertained us so we wouldn't be bored while doing everything. It was very, very fun, and it raised way more than we planned for charity, so I couldn't be happier with the results of that, even though now you get perpetual suffering from us from the results. But yeah, that's really all I have as the major takeaway. If I don't know, if you ever need to get a hold of me, I am LotusOfDoom on Twitch and Twitter, and now on PCNA as well. I'm LotusOfDoom, so I'm there as well. If you ever want to group up, I'll probably be able to do stuff with PC people now. And yeah, ta-da!
And Pixie.
You can find me on Twitch at HyperPixie Gaming and on Twitter at HyperPixie Games. And again, to echo what Lotus said, thank you to everybody for all the support for the Extra Life Marathon. That was beyond incredible and completely blew me away. The ESO fam is amazing and really pulled through for those kids.
All right, well, right, I do the outro myself as never now. I'm both sleepy and all that Aldmere Dominion rant threw me off a lot. So, you can follow me anywhere that is Arkhaniir. That is ARKHANIIR. It's a made-up name, so if you see it, it should be me. Except that one person I've seen on PC EU that was Arkhaniir, but without the H. And he came up with that name with the exact same method that I came up with my name. So it's a proven method. Anyway. Look for the H. If it's not H, if there's no H, it's not me. And you can follow everything we do over at dungeoncrawlernetwork.com. There you can find links to all of our social media, including Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Discord. If you want to help support the show, consider leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes, because that helps people know that we're a real podcast, that we say real words, and sometimes it matters. If you also want to support us financially, you can check our Patreon at patreon.com/dungeoncrawlernetwork. Thank you all so very much for joining on this episode of Tales of Tamriel. I am messing up our outro because I was looking for someone to raid while we do this, which was a bad idea. Apparently, I still don't have the outro memorized, and I'm really rambling on so I can get the name right so we can actually go through with this raid. There we go. I managed to click that. Thank you all so very much for joining on this episode of Tales of Tamriel. We will see you all next week. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
When Akatosh slew Lorcan, he ripped his heart right out. He hurled it across Tamriel, and the heart was heard to shout, red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. The laughing heart sprayed blood afar, a gout on Seer it fell, and like a dart shot to its mark down in an alien well. Magicka fused the Lorcan blood to crystal red and strong. Then wild elves cut and polished it down to chimel at a ball. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. When elves lost Nirn to men, Akatosh gave the stone to Saint Alesh in token of her right to sit the throne. Red diamond, the heart and soul of men. Red diamond, protect us till the end. Red diamond, protect us till the end.